Hello, everyone, and welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina for Championship Sunday. It's the Call of Duty Mobile World Championship Finals, and it has been a long road to get here, filled with upsets, surprises, and dominance by these three squads. Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Degon Gonzalez, and welcome here to the Convention Center here at Raleigh. I'm joined by Beef Mommy and Bobby. Y'all, it has been a long time coming to get our LAN event to crown the best in the world, but now we're on the precipice of doing so.
Every single one of these teams has earned the spot that they're in. Whether you look at the undefeateds in Luminosity and Inco, they've dominated all the way through. You look these teams have played so far in the competition. Out how to shut down Lucasen. This guy was the #1 KD in the entire competition by about 0.5, a 1.96 coming into today. He has shredded the competition. He's going to be a big problem.
Well, let's take a look at our three teams by starting with our team on the bottom side of the bracket, Tribe Gaming. Now, Tribe Gaming, they were the best in the West last year. They came in with such high aspirations, and that surprising loss to Wolves made it very difficult for them when we were worried. Was it a bad day and they were going to get knocked out because they couldn't bounce back? But they answered that emphatically, dominating the bottom side of the bracket until their rematch against Wolves, and they won that one in a close 3-1, but 3-1 nonetheless.
I am one step at a time, closer and closer into the matchup. We got Tectonic, Marshy, Bolu, Vague, and Jez to represent their team, and everyone's asking, who is going to be that one person that can try to stop a person like Lucasen? That could actually probably be Jez.
No question about it. He was phenomenal all day yesterday. But looking at the stats, and across the board, really consistent. I think that's the one thing about Tribe that you can always count on. They are all going to show up, play their role, and they're going to need to do that today if they're going to have a shot at whoever they're going to be facing in the lower bracket.
Yeah, and I wanted to take a quick second to shout out Wolves, their opponents in that elimination semifinals, because Wolves just had themselves a long slog of a day. And these matches here in the elim semifinals are some of the best Call of Duty Mobile you will ever get to see. So if you missed some of those matches, go back and watch it. But Tribe now, they are stronger because they battled through, and now they still have the opportunity to being crowned the best team in the world. Now, next up, let's take a look at their compatriots in North America, constantly in the shadow of Tribe Gaming, but now with the new organization in Luminosity, the team formerly known as Undream, now find themselves on the upper side of the bracket and one of the most dominant teams in all of Call of Duty.
My goodness, the amount of runs that they had for today, it's just so incredible. We didn't expect them to be this good at the competition, to the fact that they're going to be in the winner's bracket. We always expected that Tribe will be there, will be that representative for NA, but it looks like they're looking like a different team here. And looking at the stats, they're just so good. They only dropped 3 maps, the second best of all the teams here today.
Interestingly enough, the two players that got dropped from that Tribe Championship roster, Band and Envy, both in the top 5 for KD heading into today. They're definitely on a revenge tour, and especially having an opportunity, more than likely at some point, to go up against their former team. It should definitely be a big opportunity for those two especially.
Yeah, that clip that we just saw there, that was Band, I think, going, 7, 8, 9 in a row on standoff, and he was just doing whatever he wanted to Wolves, who looked pretty near unstoppable up until that point. This Luminosity roster, so fantastic to see them come online at the right time. Constantly, again, stage 4, so close. They were so close behind Tribe, but couldn't get over the hump. Whatever they figured out up into the LAN has been fantastic.
Man, it's just so great to see how all of these teams came together. And one of the matchups that I really want to do is probably the NA versus NA matchup. Whoever is going to be going in there, it's going to happen. Sure, I'm going to revel in the fact that we're here. We're in NA. A lot of teams here, and the fans are in the crowd, definitely supporting a lot of their players. But let's see if one more team coming in from LATAM can go make a difference.
That's right. That team, Inco Stalwart, so dominant. 12-1 map score so far throughout the tournament. Just untouchable by all squads.
Yeah, nobody's had an answer for Lucasen. Like, that's really what it's gonna come down to, and I think that, like we said, is the big question for these NA teams. What can they do to counter? I think the map picks are going to be especially crucial because of the impact that he's had, trying to find opportunities to really make him struggle a little bit, make him more uncomfortable, and try to put him into a tougher spot. But you can't forget about the fact that his teammate Dad also in the top 5 for KDs.
3 members from Inco are actually going to be in the top 10 of the best players that we have for today. That's going to be Lucasin, that's going to be Rafa, that's going to be Dad, and they have crazy numbers. And mind you, 2 of these teams, they have control KDs that are so crazy in the 2-0 KD range.
This was probably my favorite series because Smart Omega looked like they were the loose team that got to get away with anything that they wanted to do, and they ran into the buzzsaw that was Inco Stalwart, and they lost that series. And Smart Omega seemed like the like a shell of themselves on the bottom side of the bracket, but it's because they ran into this squad. And that's what Inco Stalwart has been doing to teams. No one really seems to have an answer to the SKS, to that ranged fighting here. And it's really throwing other teams off of their game. Now let's take a look at our KDA leaderboard throughout the tournament. And you said it, it's that man. He's a bad man right there on the top. 1.96 KDA right at the top. Envy is a great player. Band, a great player. Not even close.
It's not, and that's the main thing. I was trying to talk to some of the teams, like, what are you guys going to do? I was talking to Tribe, I was talking to Luminosity. What are you guys going to do to take down Lucasen? Now, they weren't willing to share those strategies because they don't want that out in the public sphere. But he's no question the biggest issue for any of these teams to go up against. The one thing that I will say, Inco haven't had to go against any of the teams that finished top 4 so far in this competition outside of when they played Wolves back in the group stages. So they haven't been truly tested so far. This Luminosity matchup definitely going to be their biggest yet.
See, I actually thought that one team that could go and make a difference was going to be Smart Omega, but it just seemed like the confidence of this team just steamrolled out of control, and that's where Inco Gaming can really shine, knowing very well the weaknesses of their team and just really make it shine.
Well, we've got ourselves our first matchup of the day. It is our championship bracket finals, Inco Stalwart versus Luminosity. We saw 2 players from one team and 2 players from the other team, both in the top 5 of KDA. Shout outs to Pab Zera, who's had himself a heck of a tournament over at Skade. And they are playing for that top side. You win this, you're at minimum $280,000 and prime position for the $700,000 for first place. Again, our tournament prizing brought to you by HyperX. The $1,700,000 prize pool has been just such a great boon for all of these players. And for you at home, you have the opportunity to win some super cool in-game swag by watching in the client. If you're able to go ahead and tune in during the broadcast in-game, you'll get free rewards just by watching. The longer you watch, the better the rewards.
Man, if you haven't gotten it, you had 3 days to get this. I haven't yet because we're so busy here on the desk, but I'm gonna be making sure I'm gonna set my alarm or tell Bobby to remind me to get these in-game viewership rewards. We have a ton of them, and plus, this is my favorite color scheme so far.
No question about it. Absolutely beautiful. Like we said, it is going to be just me getting absolutely chased around by Iskaras all day long. First stream back from all this Stage 5 casting, so it'll be terrifying, but it's beautiful.
All right, well, we've set the prize pool, we set the rewards for our friends at home, and we've set the table for our championship bracket. All that's left is prediction time. Who you got?
I asked Beef Mommy for predictions coming into this.
That's cheating.
It's cheating? Oh, my bad.
All right, well, who you got? Who you got?
I've got to lean toward Inco right now. They've seemed to be the most dominant. I know that teams are going to be drawing up game plans for Lucasen. Nobody's come remotely close to finding a successful strategy so far. I think he leads this team to victory.
Beef Mommy?
Man, this is hard. I'm always a big fan of a lower bracket run, so I might have to go with Tribe because they had so much resilience going through the lower bracket, and now they are in a little bit of a pickle. Not a situation that you don't really expect Tribe to be in, but it's just a matter of who's going to meet them in the lower bracket, because I think if Luminosity meets them down there, I think Luminosity might win it. But if it's going to be Inco, I think they might actually win Inco and possibly have an NA championship.
All right, well, let's get this day underway with our winner bracket finals. And to do that, let's send it on over to our casters, Shift and Proper.
Thank you there, friends. How about it? From potential Cinderellas to maybe championship favorites. The Zinco Gaming Squad is looking pretty untouchable at the moment, but the same can be said about Luminosity. They've had really clean runs throughout just their groups, but also here so far in the upper bracket. Maybe the only blemish comes down to what we get out of control from those guys.
You're absolutely right to talk about control when it comes down to Luminosity. Is the only game mode out of the 3 that they have truly struggled with.
Yeah.
But hey, if you can end up closing things out with just, map 1, 2, and 4, then control might not matter all too much.
It's nearly a 2.0. Yeah, that number's going to go up just a little bit.
Much as you take a look, just the overall, the map losses really not too bad at all, tied as far as wins are concerned. And the respawn KD, well, it's just a little bit better for Minko, but I think it's kind of inflated because of Lucas.
That's definitely the case. I mean, when you throw somebody up there that's nearly at a 2.0, yeah, that number's going to go up just a little bit. But yeah, you saw the kind of the map win losses right there for a moment. The thing that we really harp on here is Luminosity. Out of those 3 losses, 2 of them came to Control. So we'll kind of throw it out in the air. Summit would be map number 3, Control. Haven't seen much of that this weekend, so we'll keep kind of our finger on that while we look over the first 2 maps. Standoff, Hardpoint, Raid, Search, and Destroy. Where's your headspace at, Robert?
My headspace right now, when it comes down to it, is quite literally just around that Raid, Search, and Destroy. The only reason being is because the vetoes kind of go against what Inco are mostly comfortable on. The Hacienda taken away. Take off Hardpoint, not even in question whatsoever. So the Raid, Search, and Destroy, I think is going to be quite telling where these 2 teams stand up against each other. Got to get warm here on the standoff Hardpoint first.
We have yet to see this Inco team play on standoff Hardpoint, but you expect to still continually have not just sniper rifles maybe in play, but a hefty amount of SKSs as we start to rotate towards those more open hardpoints. But how about LG? Blur getting involved with some long-range ability, and it's going to be 3 straight eliminations for Washi as well. Luminosity off to a hot start.
There he goes. SKS trendsetter in the mix. Finds 3 in a row because, of course, he did. He won about halfway through its tenure here on the opening set. And, I mean, all said is that Inco are still in a superior position. Yeah, they're getting traded out, but so long as you can dictate the pace of the middle of the map, you're going to set yourself up wonderfully for the rotation.
Early streaks as well for Washi. Hunter Killer Drone already spent. Nades on the way in. Break attempt coming from Inco Gaming. Numbers prevail as they look to get onto the hardpoint. Contest on the way forward, and yep, that will work out nicely. Blur is going to be the player to really keep an eye out for LG when it comes to trying to lock down this SKS, and he's clean with it so far. A couple of great eliminations as he finds his fifth before dropping.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Bobby ended up talking about it as well, is that you have to have a strategy of some kind to deal with the long-range poke and prod effect that is the SKS. Kill feed starting to erupt in blue, but the push that's coming through in the backside of Brown is actually quite influential. It's setting up a pinch to come through out of Bakery.
I don't think Inco expected that there was going to be hit from the south side of the map. Now the spawns will give them that information, but it's just too late. Solo, 3 in a row. LG on the break, up to 40 points. Inco looking to try to contest this as soon as humanly possible from mostly the gas station side. There is one long flank out of Noel, but he drops, so now the whole hit from Inco has to come from the front, and the kills are at least decent enough to neutralize the time.
Yeah, big kills actually coming through out of the gas station. You lose those gunfights, you could potentially be in a spawn trap for the next 2 respawns. So working your way back in for 30 seconds could be very, very good. And you see it right there on your screen yet again. Lucasen, 1.96, mostly just with the SKS, has been an absolute trendsetter, already up to 11 kills.
And the thing that we really have to keep our eye on with these setups, Rinko, once they get the rotation in their favor, is where do they throw their double SKSs at times. Lucasen likely to lock down one lane. You expect Dan to kind of swap back and forth, maybe pulling out a second SKS if necessary to lock down the opposite. For LG though, already pinned up. Blur, easy kill on the dad, and that will mean that as the old time will expire, it's pretty much all Luminosity set up for P2.
Yeah, Luminosity still having those close spawns. We have one player that's actually watching the long cross. Was solo banned here over in the courtyard, able to lock down 2. Knows that number 3 is just outside. Washi will be there for the elimination, and it is just coming up all wonderfully for LG at the beginning here at 3.
I think everyone who played up against LG in this map from yesterday is saying, let's not make sure Band goes on that huge 9 spree onto this hard point. He was floating, flying, stinging all over the place. 70-42 the current tally. Inco looking for a break attempt, but LG quick on the read. Noel on the interior, has to pretty much do it all himself, and nearly does, but the claw comes out for Washi. Only finds 1 elimination. LG still with numbers to try to get back in, and so it will be. The switchblade from Band, another double.
Here, fire out. Band locking things down here for the scrap time. Gonna find themselves 4 in a row, and that should be the last bit of scrap time here secured. Here on P3, it was about a pretty successful 40 to about 3 comparatively to where Inco are located at, going all the way through the rotation. You still have one more player to worry about. That's going to be Washi. Big trade to come all the way through, but space provided for LG to threaten this early.
And trends really have been LG better on the initial 20 seconds so far, whether that's from the rotational wins for their gunfights or mostly locking and holding down to their initial setup. Same thing here. The full break, right as soon as the hard point opens up, comes from LG. Reinforcements on the way, and you can see the read. They know for a fact that Inco is going to be hitting from the left-hand side. Red Missile called in. Purifier also with a mix. Kills favor that of Luminosity, but Inco still have a chance to contest from the front.
There's still a very defining reason why Luminosity are the #1 hardpoint team with a plus 118 differential, 7-0 through Worlds so far, but Inco need to showcase why they are #2. Breaking back in with the Holger in hand is Crozen, just trying to meet them at the gates here at 4.
Yeah, both teams largely have not been contested in their hard points until likely now they meet each other. Inco with a substantial break off of their second attempt, now looking to lock in every bit of this scrap time. 13 seconds to fight for it. LG are still trying to put a little bit of pressure on towards this. And to be fair, this could be mostly in an effort to make sure that there's not a safe exit for Inco, but spawn for #5 in blue is Crozen. He's going to have a chance of trying to win out Hotel while Lucazin is going to go to a very bold claw call, and it works out. Double comes through, spams down the hard point, but it's going to be Inco who have the ability to jump in the hill first.
Still able to find that space, because like you were talking about, Luminosity at the end of the first set, we're trying to set themselves up for it, and an abundance of exits as Lucazin just continue to doing Lucazin things, even swaps to the pocket SKS, and is able to find 3 in a row. Just the guy cannot be stopped, but there needs to be more follow-up on it. Able to get yourself set up here inside P1, slowly closing in on the lead that Luminosity have.
Now it's on to Noel Dad. Can they work their way back in towards the SMGs and try to lock this down? Rafa also in the mix, but only for a short time. LG, 3 quick eliminations. Right back into the hard point. Van locking down the back door towards Hotel, and it's LG dominating the kill feed and a chance to continue to grow a cushion here on their score.
20 seconds remaining here inside P1. Double-edged sword coming through for Luminosity. Basically calling for players like Solo to continuously find the zoning effects. Has one player inside a bakery. We'll be able to get some help there from Blur. Now you need to start pushing all the way forward, especially with Inco spawning out.
It's going to be a bit of a 50-50 battle over towards New. Rafa able to slide in. Crozen assisting towards the old time, but it really is on to Rafa. What can he do as an individual without any sort of help? Here, as soon as the hard point opens up, LG members all over the place. Noel quickly to come back in, tagged up, but can provide a little bit of assistance, but no, it's LG with the quick eliminations, and as the hard point opens, it's LG securing more time.
And look at the split spawns that are actually coming through from Inco. You have 2 players that spawn up over by the gas station. The other ones are spawning over in the courtyard outside the bakery, but no one was reading where Ban was located at outside of L. So much damage was able to be found because Inco were just one-dimensionally trying to sprint into the hard point to try to help things out. This is such a substantial setup that LG have.
Operators are used here for LG. They're trying to put this game a bit out of reach. Inco looking to contest. Oh, and it's a long-range shot from Washington. 3 from the backside of gas station, making sure no one else can contest from the south side of the map. And Inco a bit paused up here all of a sudden, looking to play for rotation. This is critical time that they're missing out on. They would essentially now have to counter with a full 60 of their own.
Yep, you would need a full 60 here at Grandma's, and the setup isn't exactly strong when you already have players that are moving their way over by Grandma's tank. You have Predator missiles being called in by Blur, Envy finds 2, and now you're spawning out if you're Inco, not the setup that you want ahead of 3.
Rafa, last one left, just flat out overwhelmed. Luminosity again, dominate on rotation, holding the spawns, holding the early time in the hard point, and they will break past the 200-point threshold. Operators out for Solo. It will expire, only finding a couple of eliminations, but that will still be fine. One more deep. He gets caught swapping between the weapons as the charge runs out, but again, the streaks now start to fly on forward. 100 killer drones, Pret missiles, doesn't seem to make a difference what it is, just throw it at them, and Inco are completely stuffed without even getting in until maybe Dad here. Okay, hold on. Double with the Purifier, contesting the time, waiting for the regen. It's going to be 3 as Dad will clear the point out for Inco.
Got the Dad cap on and everything. Purifier needs to continuously lock things down here, 25 seconds, but you look at just the overall score. This is where we start having the conversation for leaders advantage. It's 219 to 111. Now Luminosity, they don't have to break here. They could just set up for New, and that's exactly what they're doing to try to close it out in the upcoming hill.
No operators for them, though, to try to hold on to this setup. On the opposite side, you look towards players like Crozen. 24 eliminations, a chance to possibly be the catalyst for the break with an operator ready for go for him. Now the play. Hard point expires over at Grandma's. Now we head over towards Bakery. Dad through the warehouse, looking good. This will set up a bit of a route, looking to play for spawns, but Envy denies. And Luminosity, a really solid read on where this Inco hit is coming from as they get to 225.
Able to clear away the bottom left side of the map, but you need to break this sooner rather than later. Blur able to get themselves a Purifier, just holding the stairs.
Good read on the first player up top. Noel denied any entry from the high ground. Now it's just down to flooding from the front, and this is dangerous, but the shutdown comes through. The claw from Crozen, that'll allow them entry. LG still trying to fight back. Envy for the first, holding down the trigger, but can't secure the second. And Inco have an extra life for now. Banned, though, on the entry. Finds an easy cleanup. A good double kill from him and Blur, and that may be the winning moment here in map number 1. Inco, yeah, they got 32 from Lucazin, but it is not nearly enough as LG dominate.
Little pop off on the stage as well. Luminosity gotta be feeling themselves off of that, and it's gotta be talked about one more time. There is a reason why throughout the entirety of this tournament, Alan, they are the #1 hardpoint team. 118-point positive differential coming into this matchup as a whole. And you got to see exactly why. The fundamentals on point, setups, being able to break anything that Inco was throwing at them. It was just an all-star affair that really felt like at the end of P2 in the first set of hard points, they had the resource advantage, and they let Inco feel it.
Look, I mean, you got 32 out of Lucazin, but we wanted to see how NA was going to deal with the SKS presence, and Blur says, I don't care where you're from, I could still hang with you as well. 35 and 18, he was doing a lot of work with the SKS as well throughout the majority of it. So almost a 1-for-1 between the two, but the big difference at the top of that leaderboard, how about the hard point time that Blur is able to find compared to Lucazin throughout that map?
And it's legitimately just that, right? Although Lucazin was able to find themselves 32 eliminations, they were never the ones that were set up inside the hard point, trying to find themselves angles of opportunity to open up opportunities for the rest of their teammates to then get inside the hard point. But once Inco got in, they couldn't stay alive. Luminosity, on the other hand, were sharing hard point time through all 5 of their members.
And even at this moment, if you kind of look across the scoreboard, at the top, it's pretty still tight, 114-80. You think, okay, pretty close game. But you kind of compare the SMGs for both teams. Noel's only on 12 and actually did not finish off all that well. We're on the other side. You've got 20 from Solo, 22 from Band. The SMG gameplay was great from Luminosity, and that's what you needed to see from Inco. What we were used to seeing from Inco was, yeah, Lucazin clears the way, SMGs follow up. There was not much follow-up this time through for Inco on this map mode combo.
No, there really wasn't. It was a war on 2 different fronts, right? You were finding so much of that long-range pressure, and we talked about this a lot yesterday between all of us, analysts and casters included, is that this is what Call of Duty has to offer, that if the backline is offering that much space provided for you, the SMGs need to be able to capitalize on the damage in the space that is then found. It was just that much more exceptional coming from Luminosity here on Standoff Map 1.
Yeah, that's definitely something we've got to keep in mind if we get to a map 4, which I think we assume we will probably see at least one map go the way of Inco. Not that that's guaranteed, though. Nothing is guaranteed. We've learned very rapidly here at World Championships. But I will say, now looking at a raid search and destroy, and knowing how Luminosity like to play their search and destroy, Inco will have to have good presence from their subs, and you need it now because they will for sure need it when we get to the summit control for map 3.
It's just really tough to gauge, isn't it? Because, I mean, now what you're looking at is essentially the #1 and #2 when it comes down to search and destroy.
Yeah.
Luminosity only having that 1 loss, but the differential is still respectable. Inco, on the other hand, just absolutely letting everybody have it. Undefeated in search and destroy through the entirety of the tournament. All of that needs to be exemplified here. And when you're thinking about raid, you can actually make this feel like a very, very long map, especially when you're thinking about the smoke execute that can come over by basketball court. The double SKS setup can really shut that down.
100%. And then on top of that, just to kind of set up a bit of marination towards map number 3, neither team has seen a summit control so far this weekend. Although we do assume, based on the records and the results over the course of the last couple of days, that Inco will hold an advantage in the control compared to their counterparts on the other side of the stage of Luminosity. But this is an interesting setup for the search and destroy, because you never want to be in a position where you have to reverse sweep. Not to sit there and say that this is a must-win for Inco, because the rest of the map set does look pretty good for them based on what they've played so far. But this right here, this map establishes, are the SMGs going to build some confidence up? Because for Inco, they were really missing out on that map #1, and you cannot have that absent when we eventually get to that control, as we had just previously mentioned. So we jump on into it. Inco will start on the attack. Trophies very aggressively looking to get in towards mid-map, and this will be allotted towards them. One is that Inco will hold an advantage in the
1 number advantage. This is the right call. You just send at least Solo, maybe to try to go take a look at Kitchen, maybe take a peek and a gander over by the 8 bomb, but you have B on lock. You 100% play for the retake here.
Rafa with the bomb would be the one that would have to kind of tell his teammates, yeah, we're ready to go. Which, by the way, it is double sniper SKS. So trying to clear out any of these sites would be a hard test. But they will stack together. Like you mentioned, LG going to give up this A site in order to likely just play for full retake. With mid control Laundry control, you think it's going to be good for 30 seconds, and LG are getting the idea that, okay, they're not coming to B. Let's get ourselves in a better position to try to contest this bomb plant. Here comes Rafa forward. Trophy system goes down. LG stacked up towards the staircase. First sniper shot misses. Envy gets the opener. Envy gets the follow-up. Just down to Crozin. 1v4. He's stuck inside a Tiki with a lack of ingredients. And how about the left fist from Band? He's been all smiles all weekend, so why not try to throw something out early?
Sitting there having a little bit of a chuckle in that 1v multiple situation. Might as well slide into Tiki and let the Dukes out, man. That was fantastic stuff coming through from Luminosity. Again, very reserved, I would say. They found those 2 picks. They gave up the space, and they played for the retake. Executed wonderfully.
That's a strong left hand.
Yeah, if you think about it. And it's a weighted
shots from an SKS or one left hook?
Mike Tyson would have words.
Would, for sure. Again, forward mid-map control for LG this time. It's a double stack, though. Very different look for them defensively with Band working alongside Washi to try to control pillars. The other defender towards B is Envy, up towards Laundry, now playing towards the backside of Ring. So this is a very far forward advanced setup towards B, whereas the defenders at A are more playing response and react.
You're starting to see some of those transitions actually coming through from the weapons itself, from Inko. Again, a little bit more SMG eccentric. Will be traded out 1 for 1 we go. But Washi going to be able to find yet another pick again. And they know that they have them trapped, but somehow, some way, the bomb still gets pushed up by Rafa.
Solo with the shotgun. Looking like they're just gonna run it down mid.
I mean, why not? Hey, you've not casted a lot of Search and Destroy. You know, sometimes one of the best strategies in Search and Destroy when you know that you're just better than the opponent is just to gun them. I'm not saying that it's a discrete skill difference, but as far as teamwork is concerned, LG are definitely showing better.
And the thing is, when you start to find success while just running at your opponent, it completely foils any kind of a game plan that you may have had, because you have to start to hold off, respond to any forward pushes, and then set and execute play. That all told, though, bomb is going to be very rapidly planted here at A. LG quick to try to contest. Dad, money window. It's a tough gunfight versus Band. Just jumping, peeking, seeing if he can keep him at bay. Solo the first one to drop in the engagement. Onus towards LG to try to find a response. They get one from the front. Band, naded. Will be pushed off just a moment, but LG still. Clearance through the double stairs. All this post plant is set up deep towards bedroom, hoping that Crozen's got an angle at the bomb. LG, 18 seconds to go. Have to make a move, and you have to hit a snipe. Luca's in close. Band able to track down almost one. Blur, last one left. 2 players tight and not enough time, you would think, to get the kill nor hop on for a defuse, and that will indeed be the case. Well, the 2-4 half.
1 sniper, 1 SKS, 3 SMGs. I want to see more of this out of Inko, honestly. It is being able to call the bluff of LG, who all went in for that ring control. And Inko was just like, hey, we can get aggressive too. Just immediately bull rush over towards A, get the free plant, and then the post plant was just absolutely sublime, keeping this within 2.
It's another moment, though, at the halfway point where you look up towards the scoreboard and you say, who's going to help out Lucasen? 7 eliminations. LG under the cover of smoke, looking to make a play towards A, but this is all a bit of a fake. No full commitment to get to the bomb on at the moment. Washi with control of Tiki. Band trying to zone off the money window, but as he gets tagged, then he'll back off and just play this from basketball as the bomb's planted.
Shut that if you're Band. No. Good call. We got players inside Tiki. Gonna be watching that money window as Band as well. Make sure that the flank stays secured.
Blur's playing deep in towards bedroom. Washi and Tiki with the scope. Numbers for Inko. Crozen checking, playing lifeguard over the pool. And LG have not given up anything. Good trade comes through. Inko are now in towards the site. But how do you clear out these players that are in and around Tiki? That's the bigger question here. Blur playing down by the beach chairs. Flank out of band, communicated for Lucas in. Rafa's also moved forward, he's cleared out Tiki. This is looking good for the retake, but now you got a hop. Blurs, they got this position, the snipe has to hit, and it does! Is there time though for the defuse? I do not believe so. It's gonna be close, no, not going to happen. And LG go to 5.
That retake was so quick and it was executed so well. Every single line of sight being looked at and being able to find the eliminations as quick as they did. And it's just extra maybe 2-3 seconds to be able to find those eliminations. Otherwise, everything was looking pretty darn stellar. 5-2. Luminosity nades over the top to basketball court again. Lucasen is under pressure, but Noel will find first blood.
That's a big pick because he's pushed up aggressively alongside a couple other Inco members. But how about this little alert from Blur? Holding in towards spawn, and it works out for the double. Mid-map, though, Inco still retain numbers. 3v2 with that elimination from Dad.
Envy wisely enough waiting for Blur's help to come all the way back across the pool side. Some shots are going to be thrown out there, but I mean, Dad, Lucasen, Corrosion, they're making the right call here. You just play inside jungle, inside a kitchen, you play for the retake.
Yeah, LG do not have the weaponry to try to pick apart at long range. This Kilo will be fine to spray down players, but it's not an SKS, that's for sure. Dad will let you know about it. Even watch the second challenge. It's bold, but it works out. Collects the Skull of Envy through the woodwork. And Inco still hanging around.
Really did feel like that Blur's play all the way into the back of Garage was going to be the difference maker right there, especially counteracting the overall aggression that was coming through the middle of the map for Inco, but it's not going to be the case at all. Keeping their heads above water here, keeping it within 2. Still rushing over towards A. This LG team really loves it, and it seems that Inco are starting to get an idea of what they can possibly do to counter it.
Lucas Indo, flash stun, concussed up. Noel laying prone, looking for a little bit of help. First shot misses. That will be enough for Washington to get elimination, and the turn back for Band. Collects the double. And Inco are going to have to play retake in a 3v5 with no ground at all to work with. But Crozin may have poked a hole in this post plant with the first blood going his way onto Envy. Clean out towards Muddy Window. Rafa looking to make a play. No, instead, he's actually going to join his teammates. They're going to try to full flood this from that back staircase. Dangerous prospect. Band still holding, waiting for any sort of comm, any sort of point of contact. Solo's hitting a bit of a round. Crozin, whoa, what a shot that is. A little slide through, Crozin gets more, but now Solo on the flank. He's going to finish off the double. And now map point for Luminosity.
It was almost about to look like what it did a few rounds ago, that when Inco were able to get that retake, they knew exactly where all the positions were located at. The only difference was with one player inside a cube, but one thing you can never count out is your flank coming back through kitchen. 6-3. More aggression in the middle of the map defensively, and LG have thrown a wrench into the system.
Yeah, Inco have just completely bamboozled LG on this setup. LG's only gut check call would be to try to force their way over towards B for a quick plant, but there are still nades available for Inco. How about this? Right over the top. Band does clear out some of the play through mid. Nade does not quite land, so Envy able to stick for the plant. And as we go to a 4v4, there is a steep advantage for LG in this post plant, set up in and around ring.
One-dimensional retake starting to manifest itself here for Inco. They're all essentially on the backside of Laundry. Nobody coming through mid-map.
Nades over the top, trying to get over towards driveway. Band holding close. Has he been stunned? Someone's got to make a move. This is taking a lot of time if you're Inco. Initial trade comes out. They do a lot of clearance. Of course, it's Lucasen to get the double. Only one more to find. It's Blur deep. He's got a nade still, though. This could kill off time, but as he gets finished off, it will not make much of a difference. The defuse will come through. And again, Inco still fighting their way in.
Yeah, required retake, obviously. Otherwise, they would have been down 0-2. And again, that's not where you want to be versus this Luminosity team. But hey, when the retakes are on and they're coming through one-dimensional like that, this is where Inco absolutely thrive. Their teamwork, communication, team shots, and everything else included is what is required for them to be able to make that play happen. A little bit of a bait play starting to happen here. You have Solo push up through open staircase.
And Solo, he's trying to change the route. I think he's hoping that he's going to get some help from his teammates through mid on the zig cut, but it does not happen. Envy also drops. Blur up top inside a bedroom. Would have to probably get 2 here. Does well to find the first. Still doable. Lots of time for LG. And you know, if you're Inco, you really can't take too much further of a step towards this offensive spawn, so they'll back down and just play their normal setup with numbers advantage.
Band might be the player to watch out for, but he's going to have to get through Noel first and throws a shoulder through Zig. Very tough gunfight to find for yourself. Damage is going to be traded off, but the rest of their team is surely on the way through Zig.
You have to hope that Washi hits a shot here. If you're going to cross through mid or head over towards B, Washi has to connect. That's your only way back to a 3v3 when you know for a fact Lucasen and Crozin are going to have some hard scoped angles likely to defend against any of these pushes.
Look at the read. Immediately rotating all the way to the backside of Laundry, and they have guessed correctly.
Band is pushed up towards Laundry window, though. Blur tagged up, trophy systems go down. And man, he may be able to hit a route right here. Inko up the top. Oh, Dan, great read. Band still finishes the kill, but Noel cleans things up, attributing the assist to his teammate. And now it's just on to Washi. He's found a kilo to work with. Also has the bomb. He's going to stick for the plant to try to put the clock on his side.
Noel got the sound cue, immediately slides through the staircase. We'll get that elimination. 2 rounds in a row now for Inko, starting to find their footing here on Raid Search and Destroy, and that's coming through with shutting down any aggression antics that LG are looking for in the middle of the map. They've shut down the A push successfully. LG, though, they haven't done it in a few rounds. Here it comes again.
Full flood over towards A. Noel down, trophy systems, denying utility from both sides. Lucasen stunned up beyond recognition. Noel drops, Lucasen would need to find one here, not going to be able to provide. And Luminosity are going to get the plant. How do you contest it if you're Inko? How about Crozin?
The bomb has been planted.
Gets the numbers more to manageable positions as he gets a second to a 3v3. The long flank from Rafa. No one's watching this from LG. Rafa makes himself activated. Washi cannot connect with the quick scope. LG trying to force their way up the double stairs, and Crozin will get 4 out of 5, sending us to overtime.
It was a 4-2 half, and Inko, as gritty as they come, are going to be able to force out overtime, just shutting down Luminosity's pushes, their rotations, their reads, everything at an all-time high here for Inko. And it's by way of adapting with even just weaponry. We asked for Lucasen to be able to get some help. Crozin delivers. Is up to 12. Dad also up to 10.
So big from Crozin on a lot of those defensive rounds. Nades over the middle of the map through tree. Inko still collect first blood solo drops.
Inko playing this very, very patiently. They know they have numbers, and they're still waiting to be able to find some more information. Envy is one shot, no stim right now. And Inko are more than aware of it, but they're not capitalizing on it.
No, not yet. They got the information that they needed. Maybe that's enough to pull the defense. They may be able to think about trying to threaten over towards Tiki, number 5 in blue. Washi over towards Money Window, maybe the one to contest this, but now the call from Inko is to try to force this over in towards the B site. Bomb making its move in. Rafa waiting for a little bit of assistance, and those shots coming forward may have dissuaded them from actually committing to this. There's still plenty of time if they want to track back over towards A, and Washi, very heads-up play, has made that rotation. And look at the proactivity. LG are already calling that Inko are going to want to make a full wrap, but they may have guessed incorrectly.
They haven't seen a soul.
Oh, or maybe they guessed correctly.
But the timing is not favorable. They all ended up going back to check over towards A, but they were exhausted so much time, 40 seconds remaining on the clock, and Inko might have been able to find the time to work their way over here.
I don't know. Washi and Blur have the weapons to try to hold off against this. It's on to number 4 in blue. Blur, SKS, gets a read, sees the player and says, that's enough for me to back away. You have a long flank on the way from Band. You also have Washi contesting the map, and Inko want to try to isolate him, and you catch him on the reload. And now you can immediately swing back through pillars. It's going to be Blur on the rotation. Does he catch anybody? No! It's Lucasen, connects! And the bomb will be planted. Steep advantage for Inko here in the first overtime, but Band at least keeps the number relatively level between our two squads.
Bomb going down for Rafa here at B. Post plant, set up for Laundry. You also have arc control, and Rafa just swinging around rings, trying to see where these players are coming from.
Band is rapidly on the flank. Envy would have to contest through pillars. Noel's waiting for this. Maybe he's heard a footstep. Yeah, looks that way. Yeah, and Rafa's seen him. This play not concealed anymore at all. And Noel gets out of dodge. So good just to kill a little bit of extra time. Confirms that LG are double stacked. Envy up high, Band down low. First one connects for Envy with the SKS. Dad, next one up. Gets not just one, but Noel finishes the second. Advantage to Inko.
Insane scenes coming through for Inko. Again, adapt, overcome. Really utilizing all of those 2 minutes on the game clock to their utmost advantage. They found that first blood, and then they just held the line from red. They never pushed that much further forward. Here come LG again, though, offensively.
How about Inko, though? 3-man stack through water stairs. They're going to catch this LG on rotation. The kills, they're coming rapidly. It's looking clean from Inko. Last one to grab. It's going to be number 2 in Blur. He's stuck inside a Tiki. The troops are reinforced, and a comeback one.
It was a 4-2 half. That favoring of Luminosity. Inco come all the way back, force the overtime, and it ends in an 8-6. They just needed to force the overtime, and they won the next 2 consecutively. You cannot write this any better for Inco. Their adaptations and understanding of what the enemy is doing continuously throughout the entirety of the map, their reads on point, playing with the clock, fundamentally, everything just so good coming through from this Inco stalwart team. The double SKS, it wasn't working out, so you ended up pulling out an SKS and a sniper, getting some SMGs presence through the middle of the map, and everything just came up so much better for him.
3 members of 13 eliminations for Inco. Notably, that is all of the long-range players in the search and destroy, but I will say Noel and Rafa had a couple of very key moments with those subs. In particular, the quick route that we saw around the back of that LG play a couple of rounds previous towards the basketball bomb site, really shutting down LG. And then how many times did we see them defensively double stack subs towards water stairs and shut down LG continuously from that defensive half? That's, again, like you mentioned, the word adaptation is easy, but that's just great resilience as well from the subs who had a very poor first map.
And it was a great shutdown too, especially offensively. Luminosity were finding way too much value with trying to push over towards the AS&D aggressively. And it was mostly solo coming through the middle of the map through open staircase. So yeah, you have to answer that back with 2 SMGs coming through the middle of the map to be able to shut things down as we watch some of these highlights on the screen.
And initially, you start to think Washi may just take over this entire map. He was finding so many key kills, not just early, but also clutching up from the defensive side on some of these retake moments. I mean, he's getting good information, but this combo of Solo and Envy kind of on the retake with the rifles, and then the sniper rifle long-range gameplay from Blur and Washi looked near unstoppable until we swapped the sides. Because I'm telling you, Washi is hitting different today. Like we saw instances of this Washi yesterday, but if he continues to play like this, teams could be in steep, significant trouble when it comes to relying on long-range gameplay, because he was not missing.
Yeah, it definitely does say something, doesn't it? Especially with like sniper gameplay going up against the SKS presence that is this Inco Gaming roster. And it's just kind of insane scenes when you're thinking about it, because again, we have to pose the question, how do you deal with the SKS presence? Well, Washi just needs to turn up and try to meet them over at the range as well. I mean, Blur even also trying to help things out. But at the end, I think the word resilience does really kind of stick with it, is that Inco just continuously throwing more and more adaptations, understanding the tendencies of where Luminosity were on the map. You're going to need all of that plus some more. You did it here on the search.
And the thing about it, you know, we could throw out a number of different synonyms towards talking about adaptation and stuff like that, but that is a lot of trust.
Yeah.
When you're down 6-2 essentially, and you're not finding any success off of your game plan from the offensive side, to sit there and say, we're fine. Our defensive game plan's sound. Trust it. Trust each other. Let's not let this get out of control. That says a lot about the discipline of the squad, and one of the reasons why they were so clean, not just in groups, but also up until this point in the upper side of the bracket. So now we have guaranteed ourselves a firing range hard point, but we've kind of been touching and dancing around this summit control for a while. We have not seen a lot of summit control, even less from these 2 squads overall. Biggest 2 things for me. Number 1, operator usage needs to be key.
Yeah.
How are we pulling out things like claws and purifiers? And then on top of that, just a little bit, again, leaning on towards the Inco stalwart side. Can the subs continue to perform? Because we saw great play out of band from Luminosity in map number 1.
Summit also could be the calling, because if there's one thing that we could definitely take away from our 2 Chinese teams here on Summit anything, was some shotgun plays as well. So the best hardpoint team is Luminosity, but the biggest issue is that they're 8th place in control.
Yeah.
This is where Inco can absolutely take advantage of coming off of a map 2 barn burner and going in towards Summit, keeping them at an SKS's reach, being able to capitalize with SMGs up close. You've got to be feeling pretty darn good if you're the entire team of Inco.
Yeah, a mere 50% win rate so far, 2-2 on control for LG. It's been their biggest vulnerability for whatever that might mean, because they've been polished everywhere else for the most part. But I think you look at this, if you had that information, if you're Inco, you look at how do we beat this LG team? How do we get to the World Championship Finals from the upper side of the bracket with a major advantage? You have to think that map 3 should be ours. So that has to be kind of step number 1. 1, which is weird to say because it's actually step number 3. But you win the control. That's now the swing map mode combo. It gives you a little bit of luxury because you're going to guarantee you get your slum search and destroy that I believe was their selection. And the firing range hardpoint, let's not lie. As much as we like to assume that that's going to be largely controlled by sub gameplay, we did see, I believe, Inko and Skate also play this firing range hardpoint. And I will say their ability to lock down lanes, trusting the SKS, until this point, it's been unparalleled.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it almost feels like the firing range was quite literally made for this Inko team when you're thinking about it. Middle of the map, SKS. Yeah. Through America, SKS.
Sure.
You can end up also controlling all of Banana with an SKS if you really think about it. I don't think that they've actually played firing hardpoint, but we have seen them on firing range at one point or another. I want to say either through scrims or some other time. I definitely do remember they could have honestly been Skate. I don't know. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of SKS gameplay out of these lineup guys.
Blurs together real fast.
But I want to go back and I want to highlight something that we were starting to talk about as far as Inko are concerned, because it's something that you and I were talking about when they were going up against Omega, and that is their teamwork and their trust. And it was also alluded to in some of the highlight videos that we do have in interviews as well, and even talking to these guys as well. The trust and communication for these guys is just so clear, especially when you're sitting there dissecting the mini-map as well, just watching how they're moving with one another, how they're communicating with one another. It's just, you have to have that trust, especially here so late in a top 3 situation here at Worlds.
100% agree with you. And interestingly enough, you know, I'm kind of going back towards Inko's stage 4 statistics. They actually didn't play any firing range then either.
That's interesting.
The thing that I guess what I'm kind of assuming at this point is watching them, how they kind of set up for a map like Takeoff that has, again, kind of the same instance where you have a lot of long lanes. Maybe not long rotations, but long lanes. That's where you expect that players like Lucas are really going to shine and really going to pop. So for LG, it comes down to trying to reduce the impact in these next 2 maps of that SKS, which has been a very easy blanket statement for us to say because everyone's trying to figure that out. Even against Skade, that was an issue. So as much as we kind of keep talking about Inko Gaming, I think you still have to look at least this map as being quick to try to push not just into, but through the B site. Blur, good first blood. Inko trying to stack on towards A. It's Mixie. It's scrappy, but it's going to work out for them. Clock has stopped. First tick of progress looking good. Band on the flank. Good to try to deny some of the reinforcements, but the first tick still gets locked in regardless.
Nice opening. Nonetheless, only lost 4 lives coming through for Inko, but space still needs to be found here. Second segment, very much so on the way. Crozen able to find some eliminations. Look at the push that's also coming through from the snow path as well, but completely unbeknownst to Inko, all of Luminosity wanted to come back through the north side.
Really well done, and just good distraction play out of Solo, pulling out the R9. We saw a lot of our Eastern teams try to do the exact same thing with these shotguns, and that's actually dissuaded Inko from even playing on the interior. A little bit more of a lane to play with. Progress at B starting to come, but largely mitigated by the kills coming out of Luminosity. And this is just good recovery from LG. Second floor control. Lucas is just sitting here waiting to see if he can find a free kill on the rotation.
I love that call. I don't know if you ended up seeing that. Noel tried to push all the way back over back blue and was trying to at least start a little bit of a spawn trap, trying to split up some of these defenders. But just as soon as it was a great start, the life lead has been mitigated down to 2. Space being provided for Luminosity, but Inko trying to find themselves some nade points, trying to find some different points of angles as well. Crozen down low with the SKS, gonna be able to find an opening.
That's a big round as well.
Yes, it is.
Could use that as an opportunity to either stop the clock at A, make some more progress, or possibly just completely cut off the reinforcements. But LG, good double coming out of Band as well as from Envy, as he actually makes it 3 straight in a row. Crozen's play mitigated largely just because LG flat out shooting better.
Just straight up shooting better. Luminosity coming out of the gates, absolutely swinging. 10 seconds remaining here. Only a single segment is all that you need over on A if you are Inko to extend the game clock, but it's not coming easily.
And there's just no route to get there, none at all. Washi assisting. Again, the long-range pressure from LG has matched up with Inko 100% perfectly. Clock will expire with just 2 ticks of progress. The lives were starting to get tight, but Luminosity, after the opening break-off, pretty much denied any re-entry towards A at all.
really did feel like that third segment was going to come through over at A, but I mean, there was just so much focus that was coming through from Inko through the snow path that there wasn't a whole lot of focus over by Catwalk, which, hey, you guessed it, that is actually one of the best power positions here on Summit.
Luminosity, good first bloods, high ground control. Inko, they're just trying to keep it mixy down low, and they're getting absolutely picked apart. So LG with numbers. Dan can only do so much. And with that, only one member from LG will drop the round towards the A site. They've got a player deep inside of the Inko spawn, and this is punishing on multiple facets as LG really letting Inko have it at the moment.
Yep, this is exactly what Envy was able to find success with, what Noel was attempting to do. Look at all the space that is coming through for Luminosity. 26 plays on against 22. The second segment already on its way, and already up top is Band with the claw, letting them have it, finds himself too.
Chance to snowball right here for LG. We'll take a second to listen in to see how exactly they may finish off this offensive round.
Flank that, flank that, flank that.
Side outside A door.
30 bucks, 30 bucks.
Come on, come on. That's good. Stay on that beat. Don't give
One green, one green. Green, two green, two green. One shot green.
The vortex, dude.
There's two green, two green.
Hey, help us cap, help us cap.
I'm flashed, I'm flashed.
They're all green, they're all green. All of them are
Hey,
green.
help us cap, come on now. Fucking
Have a trophy on your
Fucking
back.
shit.
No, one more green, one more green, one more
Good
green.
fucking shit.
Don't peek blur, don't peek blur, don't peek blur.
No.
I got flash right now. Alright, he's gonna push right here. I'm a double flash main, I'm double flash main. One more, one shot, two. They're fast. Ah, go in. One more, Swansea, one more.
I died.
One more on here, one more on here.
Look alive.
Not the most polite comms you've ever heard, but hey, they're working out pretty well. 16 playing up against 8. They nearly got it done on the second attempt. Again, that snowball, gravity vortex, claws, purifiers nearly allowed them to just string together both zones.
You don't have to be nice, it's top 3. You just got to get it done by all means necessary. Second segment already completed here at B. And where everybody might be on the map. Inko, stay alive, get themselves a defensive round of their own.
But they will have to face up against Streaks and an operator from Washi relatively early. Inko stacking up towards A. Once again, they're focused primarily towards the lower ground, but LG, nice little response. Keep it relatively even, and with these kills, they've actually regained a lot of this second floor. Rafa caught with a nade out. That's not going to work out, but actually, pardon me, that was a 100-killer drone, so he secures his own trade. Solo taking his place by repositioning back towards that same high ground. First tick of progress being depleted. Dad not able to hold on towards the zone.
Just playing inside of Grates, just waiting for some help here. You got Noel that's up top on the catwalk, or down low, excuse me. So Dad's gonna go ahead and join them. Maybe try to win this battle on 2 different fronts, and you can even see off the respawn as well. Inko have no idea where to go. They're constantly trying to get themselves snowpath control. Noel needs to be the one to get activated. He's only able to find one.
Good help though coming from the rest of his teammates. Trades will still allow Inko to try to get their way back in. Blur holding, making sure his teammates can stay safe from afar. And Gravity Vortex got his spent by Blur. Works out for 3 eliminations in a row for him. Noel stopping the clock over towards B. Pred missile called in. That'll find Crows in as Noel continues to kind of go back and forth between the B zone and the lower portions of this A connector. LG in the meantime, though, still picking apart kills. 23 playing up against 16. And Luminosity had to feel like this is going to be a pretty comfortable defensive win for them, pending Noel to do something unbelievable.
You came back from a life deficit defensively. So just do it on offense, Forehead. 20 seconds remaining here, 22 playing up against 14. Not a whole lot of space. Why is that? Because, I mean, Luminosity are just cycling players out. They're not trying to push into their spawn at all. They're playing this very, very well defensively.
Clean stuff. Have only dropped 8 total lives in the span of what has been a very, very quick defense.
Yeah, convincing, I'd say.
Yeah, that'll work.
Only losing 8 lives along the way. No segments of progression given up whatsoever. You barely had to dip into any one of their resources as well. And I mean, Inko, they were already playing on their back foot nonetheless. You're coming into this one with 3 operators, a pocket full of streaks, pocket full of posies maybe. I don't even know what the saying might even be. All I can tell you is that Lucasen is struggling. 7 eliminations for both them and Noel. Rafa's the one that's been stepping up, and Crows is going to open this up with the Claw to try to get themselves an early numbers advantage.
Immediately shut down. Luminosity have met them with 2 claws of their own. Dan trying to find the shutdowns wherever they possibly can. Pred Missile called in. It gets down 2. LG, even with those eliminations, have not found a way to get towards either of these 2 sites. They're trying to put the hurt on with the lives. Dan up top nearly able to lock things down for Inko defensively. But now recovery will have to happen. Nasty Heady from Ban takes down Rafa for his 2nd elimination. And now LG say it's time to go. 2nd tick of progress on the way. 2 operators being spent. Inko nowhere to be found. Do they have to give this up? And it looks like we may have gotten our call. Thing about it is they can't just give up this entire space because LG can just move right over to B.
Yeah, and they have resources to be able to snowball over towards B as well. Solo down low with the Purifier inside of the A zone. Might just be able to get this segment by themselves. They're still trying to find out where Rafa's located at. Finally able to find them, and now Inko all spawning out. Numbers in the middle of the map and in the count. And that in favoring of Luminosity.
Hunter Killer trying to clear a little bit of space. LG following up behind that. Solo. Double 4 and Pred Missile called in. This is really putting a hurt onto Inko's life count. 22 playing up against 12, and LG stopping the clock even further at 1:57 still left. Looking good for the offense. Inko, not a lot that they could spend here. It's just Noel, the only one who has an operator that he could possibly play with. 2nd tick locked in, 3rd on the way. LG zoning forward, Dan playing far. He's gonna find Dan, no worries. And now it's the 20v4, doesn't even make a difference. It's gonna be the full capture of the B zone, and Luminosity, the 8th ranked team based on control stats thus far, absolutely making us look silly for trusting the numbers.
Hey, that's one thing that we do love as commentators and analysts. I love being wrong, and Luminosity showing up when it matters the most here on Championship Sunday, being able to put themselves in a position there on Summit Control. A lot of questions. It's not only just around control, but just what both these teams are going to look like on Summit. But it doesn't really matter when you just have good fundamentals. It doesn't really matter when you have superior gun skill. That's Luminosity's argument as they take a 1-map lead in the series.
Yeah, and the Summit pick looks like it may be one that Inko will have to consider. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say they got rid of Hacienda of all maps, as Lucasen only 10 eliminations. Crozen tried to step up, but for the majority of that map, Lucasen had a switchblade in hand. So as much as we were sitting here saying the SKS may be championship condition for Inko, you take across their run, and maybe even just over the course of the evening last night, they had to have the conversation, if not the question, what do we do to stop this SKS play? And I'm just going to go ahead and wager. Blur stepped up and said, boys, I got you. And boy, he's got him.
I wonder if he ended up going back to his room last night and just started pub stop.
Literally pumping. Yes. Get reps.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is going to be Inko's first game on firing range during all of Stage 5. And firing range, again, I mean, both you and I were just flabbergasted. That, like, we go back through it, it's like, no firing range? When you're the SKS trendsetters?
Yeah,
I think it makes sense.
It's a map that, like, we kind of relate to other maps that have happened in Call of Duty in the past where, like, even though it's a small map, the lanes are long.
Yeah, yes
so
they are.
The idea here, and this is something we saw from Skade yesterday and even the day before on firing range, you put those SKSs, you get them set up, trust that they're going to lock down the lane individually, let your SMGs focus on wherever they're not looking. And it worked out for Skade pretty darn nicely. Just down to can Inco do the same as their Brazilian compatriots. Nice start. Rafa for 2. Noel gets the 3rd in the mix, and that is very convincing kill feeds, leading to a lot of time for Inco right off the rip.
And that's what you need right there. Lucasen got the SKS back in their hands. You need to continue to pop off right there because you cannot allow to have LG pop off the way they did the same way over inside of the standoff. It was a blistering pace set on early. You need to answer the back here in map 4.
LG able to find at least an answer for now. Smoke will be the biggest muse for them getting in towards the hard point. 4 kills in a row for Envy, working towards possibly early streaks. Band getting aggressive, sidesteps a Hunter killer drone. Quick reaction out of him, has a chance for Noel, and will turn that into his 5th elimination. Dad Inco, though, able to re-break, and with that, the 22 seconds of Luminosity will be met and exceeded by Inco Gaming.
Good quick rotation also coming around all the way past tires. It's also being looked at by player number 4. That's going to be Lucasen that's watching that. That's the player that you probably want, being able to shut that down ahead of the rotation. Middle of the map, also at least trying to be secured. Big battles going over just for the scrap time there at the exits, but it is Inco set up for new.
And just keep your eye very passively on the minimap for number 4, number 5 in gold. Those are your 2 SKS users. You would like to see them on opposite sides of these hard points, and so far that is indeed the case. LG trying to force a break, trying to break in towards the windows of America, but it's not working out really whatsoever. Blur able to control Jeep. That's going to be a nice little setup for them to try to get on in. Blur Envy finding eliminations, and with that, LG will push the spawns away and also reclaim the zone.
But you needed to be able to break on in very, very quickly and keeping them zoning away. You still have a lot of presence going in over by 10. Band actually spawns all the way on the backside of Wood. That's a parallel spawn that happened along with Lucasen, who is just letting them have it inside of 10 at this moment of time. But it's really the only one that's able to pop up the kill feed. Yeah, Dad is able to take down Band, but that's not an influential kill to be able to break back into this hard point. And I don't even know if you want to at this point, because with 10 seconds remaining, and if you fully clear away Luminosity from this hard point, you're actually going to be spawning them a little bit further out than you probably want them to.
Good map control on the rotation here for Inco. We were not able to say that very much at all in the opening hard point. This time, though, just a bit on the tidy side. Only 1 player inside for LG in the trailer. Going to be shut down. Noel gets a 3K with a nade. Wow. Well placed, I'd say. And with that, Inco will gain the early time, but LG looking to threaten quickly, have some mid-map control, try to also play it through backside barrels. Purifier early, out for Noel. Claw trying to shut it down. Washi able to at least spam things over. Lucasen doing the same from the opposite window. Gets 1. The second one on the interior finds that as well. 1 more deep, and it's Lucasen for a triple. Inco reclaim the point.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is just massive stuff coming all the way through just off of that previous hard point. When they ended up breaking them out, they were able to anchor out the spawns all the way to the backside of Showers, so that way they could maintain this south side of the map ahead of this 10 hard point. 20 seconds remaining inside of this hard point. Dad feeling it, wants to pull out the Purifier, almost expecting for a contest to come through, but that's the overall fundamentals of Luminosity. They're seeing what the map is offering for itself. They're setting themselves up for next.
Noel already a chance to try to contest the lower floor here at Wood. And he's in, and the support deep from Rafa. Lucasen working out well. Blur onto the gravity vortex. Number 4 in blue, trying to hold it down. He's by himself inside the zone. He only gets 1. That is not worthwhile for the side of Luminosity. The kills are there. There's still 3 members to flush out, though, from Inco. Pred Missile trying to make life a little bit easier for these court defenders. But LG have the numbers. Rafa on the backside. Gets a read on the Blur, but shut down. And with that, LG will substantiate not just the spawns, but also the hill.
Neck and neck is this hard point right now. 45 seconds, still ample time to fight over. And Solo, what a read is that? Pulls out the Purifier, goes over towards Banana, only able to find 1, but it sets up their team for success to be able to find those trades. So you still have 2 players that are pushed out through the middle of the map, and it is being read by Envy over inside of 10. Another big 1v1 happening off screen, but regardless of the matter, everybody from Luminosity showing up the kill feed where it matters the most, keeping Inco at bay.
Smokes concealing some of the window play. Rafa shut down by Solo up top. Now trying to jump down to assist the hard point, but doesn't need to. Teammates have already picked things up, and over 100 points go Luminosity. Scrap time also looking good for them as Inco are hard focused on trying to control Trailer and America. They're able to neutralize a little bit of the time and even get some of their own here at the old Wood hard point. But as we rotate to sandbags, LG will be here first. Pred Missile makes things a little bit more difficult, but with LG inside of 10, they should be comfortable to at least contest this hill.
And P1 going in towards the second set is mostly all based around this tin control and making sure that the flank is going to be secure. That actually gets picked up by Blur, so wonderful stuff for them. Probably not expecting there's going to be another player. Yeah, got to get traded out off screen, but even more so than that, you have players like Envy on screen trying to zone away tin, trying to keep all of Inco on their toes and just cutting down their reinforcements where they can.
Rafa's able to sneak forward. Noel watching over the top of him. Watching, looking for the reclamation of the hard point. Dad stunned up, taken down, no worries. LG, 30 seconds to still fight for. And they look like they want to try to soak up as much as humanly possible, allowing Inco to gain some key positions as we look towards rotation soon. But you do not want to let this go if you're Inco. This game has been close until this point. You do not want to let it get out of hand, and the kills will allow them to at least once again contest. Luke is in. That's kill number 29. 3 in a row. Already looking to break past the 30 point. No one else in the lobby is even close.
And the only one that you would probably make an argument for is Envy on the other side, but it's slowed. Slowed up considerably. 20 and 20. 29 and 9 for Lucas, and this is exactly what you needed, but you're still down by 29 points. Look, you can find all the kills in the world, but if you're not generating hard point time, then you're going to be put in the blender.
Hello there, friend. One more on the corner. Someone going to get a trade on Lucasen. One more nearby. Finally, Blur shuts him down, but the claw comes out for Grozen. Locking down the front doors. Everything bouncing around like a pinball machine inside of America. Ban gets the double, and LG a chance to not just get death, but possibly grow their lead even further as Inco look to set up their break.
Again, it's just such a quick shutdown, an even quicker break to come all the way through. Everybody from Luminosity just showcasing their own teamwork. That argument needs to be made by Inco. 150 to 109. Zoning away is Solo with yet another peer fired. A little bit too out of reach is Lucasen with the SKS, who finds yet another three-piece.
There are 3 operators that Inco could use to possibly try to break down this time, but they're not looking all that privy to trying to oblige that. Sitting back, very uncharacteristically so. LG are kind of picking apart at this, and this is all Inco saying. We want to try to control trailer spawns, but there's still so much time at all that those spawns really aren't even open yet. So now to 175 go LG. A chance to win the series and go to the World Championship final right here. And if they find a way to lock down trailer, this game could be out of reach for Inco.
One operator gonna be pulled out. Solo doesn't even need it. Able to find themselves 3 in a row. Purifier also in the hands of Blur. You gotta have it here if you're Noel. Lucasen, both have operators in their back pocket. You need this break yesterday.
Yeah, I'll say. This is just a critical mistake from Inco, you have to think. Noel, Purifier in. Able to take down one. That will get the zone back into their favor, but only 30 seconds to fight for. A long laundry list of things that have to happen. Noel responding to the play from Solo, who single-handedly breaks. Rafa on the way in. Just enough assistance from Inco to shut down the potential final play from LG. Red Missile called out for the rotation. And it will find one off spot. Rafa challenged, but denies as the double goes his way. And Inco are sticking around. Envy for one last challenge, but it's only for about 7 seconds.
It's still a whole hard point difference. 201 to 130. You have to find yourself a full 60 just to bring yourself back into the game. And good luck with that going in towards Wood. Wall bangable, to say the least. Lucas and Noel, though, able to find 2 to open things up, but you still have Ban, Solo, Blur, lurking members able to find these straight picks.
And is Lucasen ever going to use this operator? He still hasn't pulled it out yet. I get it, you got 42 eliminations, but at some point in time, you have to sacrifice the SKS in favor of locking down the hard point. LG with the numbers. Lucasen pulls out the claw to get absolutely nothing. Immediately shut down. Inko, though, still in the hard point, struggling to lock down spawns as Envy's in the back towards bathroom. That will provide an opportunity for Solo to try to work on it. He gets 2 with the Purifier before falling, but Inko still retained the point.
Oh, Band up top, and Wood able to get behind enemy lines, pulls out a claw as well, slides on forward, is able to find himself 3, and now is trying to zone away inside of Banana. 225, the 147, Envy Blur, not slowing down.
This has just been too cautious from the side of Inko. Still 3 operators in their hands. Most of them have not been used. Rafa gonna pull out the claw for himself. Gets at least the first. But, I mean, this is at a point that is really not going to allow for the claws to do too much. You've got to face up against Predator missiles, and Luminosity have full control mid-map, looking to put this map away.
That has an operator. Frozen has one as well. Lucasen's going to pull out a claw again, able to find themselves at least some damage, but still not enough quite yet. Noel needs to capitalize on this. What a snap on a Blur up top. Need this plus some more. You can only give up 9 seconds.
Lucasen trying to lock down time. LG, though, with the numbers, trying to break back forward. Putting it away here. Just need 8 more seconds. Blur, good elimination. Tries to step in through the smoke. Denied. Inko not going to let them get away with it for free. Numbers now persist. Luminosity looking to break once more. They've got high ground control. Washi jumping down. Little Batman move from the high ground. Not able to turn to find the follow-up elimination, but his teammates are here. Is this the winning moment for LG to get to the World Championship Finals? It sure looks good for it. Inko trying to deny, trying to contest for the kills. They go back and forth. Still back and forth. Pinstripe goes to kill feed, but it's Lucasen. He gets to 49 eliminations. But is it enough? LG can still try to find a way to win here. Contest for this long enough, but you look towards rotation to New, and LG have members that get the last 2 seconds.
Oh, Band's pushing up. He's finding so many eliminations, gets himself some squad spawns. New hardpoint will pop. 2 seconds are all that required, and Inko are nowhere to be found. Luminosity, off the back end of their hardpoint prowess, are able to punch their ticket to the World Championship Finals.
It's just... use your operators. That is the most uncharacteristic thing that we've seen out of Inko yet this tournament.
For real.
Do you claim it to the fact that they have not played Fire Range Hardpoint in a while? Do you claim it to the fact that Lucasen sitting here saying, I'm about to drop 50, I don't need an operator? It's hard to put a finger on any of it. It's almost a combination of it all, though, but that is a massive mistake in a couple of key moments for Inko, not using operators to try to lock down spawns, or more so, beyond that, try to find a way to win these rotations, because they're finding enough kills, as we would normally assume, but their ability to lock things down was essentially absent.
It really was. And there were so many different moments of time where both you and I mean, I know everybody can't see us at home, but I mean, we're sitting here pointing just at the top of the screen continuously, just when they had the setup initially, that an operator here or there would have been fantastic to be able to hold on to the hard point. Lucasen drops 49 and 29 for the L. Just so much space being provided through the entirety of that first and second set. But Luminosity, just through teamwork and sheer grit and tenacity, are able to bounce all the way back. Solo, 38 and 28, 34 and 29 for Ban. Those were your lurking members continuously, along with Blur, who were always a thorn in the side of Inko.
Yeah. There's going to be some very quick conversations that are going to have to happen for Inko, because that is not the same Inko team that we saw over the last couple of days in Hardpoint. 250, 131 on standoff, and then a 250, 175 on firing range. Ooh, that is not common.
But it's why we talked about Luminosity coming into this. Again, they are the #1 hardpoint team. They have the stats to prove it. Even walking into this match, they had a positive 118 differential over everybody that they ended up playing. And it's one of those things that you can just lean on, right? You know, the search and destroy we thought was going to be a little bit different, but Inko definitely, shut us up very, very fast with how quickly they were able to adapt and overcome on that. And the same could be said about Luminosity's control. Everything was a lot of different adaptations coming all the way through that both teams, us as casters, were not exactly ready for. But it's a welcome sight here as Luminosity, again, congratulations to them for a quick turnaround going into the grand finals.
And a new problem starts to surface for our other 2 teams that would have to try to find a way to get revenge against this LG team. But we've got DGOT on the stage for live reaction from Luminosity after their win.
Makes me nervous as everyone's watching you play. Like, nervous. All right, thank you very much. I'm on stage with Luminosity's Blur. Congratulations on making it to the grand finals. This series against Inco Stalwart made it the top 2 teams. What was it like for you in this set? Because you guys made it look easy.
Well, it's not really that easy. It's a bunch of SKS. It's hard to deal with. They're really nasty, and we just gotta try our hardest, you know.
So one of the questions that I think a lot of people had is stage 4, you guys, while you were part of Undreamed, behind Tribe. Now, what's changed here in stage 5 on LAN international experience, and you guys are now the top dogs?
Well, stage 4, like every game is a learning experience. We make a lot of mistakes, and what we worked on the most will be like teamwork and communication and all that. We just try our best every time.
I mean, your best has been pretty damn good. Right now, you are at the lowest 2nd place. That is a lot of money. Again, congratulations on making it. So now Inco Stalwart and Tribe have to play against each other. Who would you rather see in the finals?
If I'm honest, I want to see Tribe. NA, both NA and grand finals, I want to see that happen.
All right, well, we'll find out what happens there in the lower bracket finals. Again, Blur for Luminosity Gaming.
Look, there are a couple of conditions that, as we were kind of talking through things and then hearing it from Blur, that have now kind of surfaced in possible favor towards Luminosity. The first is the fact that I don't know what Blur did overnight, but he's looking disgusting with the SKS all of a sudden. On top of that, though, Luminosity's control looked very polished, very clean. That was completely missing during the group stage and in their opening moments in this upper bracket run that they've put on. But look, if you could just take the former point of that, Blur dominating space and letting his team win in rotation, that was the biggest thing for me in these opening hard points.
Oh, it absolutely was. I mean, through both hard points, when you're really thinking about it, you know, taking on the selfless role, right? Being able to seemingly to turn overnight to an SKS monster. You even heard him talking about there in the interview that, you know, the SKS, as many as they saw on the opposite side, it's very hard to deal with, and yet the way that Luminosity decided to deal with it was just one, keeping them at an SKS's reach and allowing their SMGs to outshine that of Inco.
And you can even see it, like number 4 is Blur. He's watching these crosses, and even if he's not finding kills, he's giving communication to his teammates of where they're coming, when they're coming, and how many.
Well, it's just like, you know, the one shot from the SKS is going to leave them.
Well, that too, yeah.
Just an absolute abysmal amount of health. So, I mean, so long as you're just getting that chip damage in there, the SMGs just need to slide chow around a corner and just capitalize on it.
Yeah, and it worked out really well. I will say that duality between Blur and his Zubs up front was near picture perfect. Then we got into the control, and Luminosity played with a certain sense of vigor. I mean, we were a 1v1 away from them 3-0 in this control.
Yep. Yeah, we sure were. It's just absurd to see like how quickly things turn on its head. I mean, we were also mere moments away from even Inco getting an extra 60 seconds on their initial offense. It's just really does show to the talents and abilities that Luminosity are playing with through the entirety here in Stage 5 Finals, is that, you know, even when their backs are fully against the wall, and they're able to recognize, okay, we have this resource, we have this operator, this streak, we're in this position, and they just use it to such a high degree that I don't think that Inco have really dealt with all tournament long.
Yeah, Band really, again, showcasing his prowess to kind of even sidestepping the 100 killer drone in that last highlight.
Yeah.
But LG's ability to get into the mix in this map in particular, I mean, we're 175 to 109 in this current
HyperX. Now, HyperX is running a special holiday sale this season where you can get up to 50% off HyperX products with free shipping through the end of this December. Head on over to the description in the YouTube link down below so that you can go ahead and gear up for the holiday season. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, it's that lower bracket finals. Who will take third and who will move on to the grand finals? We'll find out in just a little bit. You're watching the Call of Duty Mobile 2022 World Championship.
the most surprising thing of the weekend for me is, you have 100 different conversations with strangers every day at an event like this, and every single console and PC player I've talked to is blown away by mobile movement, mobile gun skill, and they're interested. They're coming over to check out Warzone Mobile at the booth, and it's all the interest in mobile that you'd always hope for,
Yeah, speaking of that, Bobby, you got to be a part of that Warzone Mobile activation. How's that been so far?
It's been amazing. I've gotten to see kind of the full progression of Warzone Mobile because we had the opportunity at COD Next earlier this year to check it out and to see how far it's come and to see how many people are loving it has been really cool. So I know the entire mobile community is really excited about it, and hopefully they've got big things planned in the future. I know they've done big things already.
Well, thankfully, you're not only you are involved on the competitive side as well. So let's take a look at the champs bracket brought to you by Republic of Gamers. When you look at this one here, Mod 6, all the way back from the quarterfinals, what has jumped out at you when we take a look at the bracket?
Well, Tribe is about their losers bracket run. They've done it before, and this time they're at a disadvantage with that one map drop in the grand finals if they make it there. But the crazy thing about this final and grand final right now is that you talk to anybody in the crowd and you get 100 different predictions for how this is going to work out. That's the Sunday you want, right? There's no obvious advantage. Teams are strong on certain types of game modes and on certain maps, but there's no leading prediction for how this ends.
Right. Other than Luminosity being in the grand finals and getting that one map lead. Now, our friends over at ROG have been big homies here for Call of Duty Mobile Esports. So let's take a look at the ROG Phone 6 with its upgraded GameCool 6 cooling system. It has an optimized thermal design that cools the CPU not only from the internal structure design, but also from the external gadget. The new Aero Active Cooler 6, which incorporates an AI-powered active cooling system. Thank you all weekend long to our ROG Phone 6 friends. Thank you for supporting Call of Duty Mobile. Let's dive into our lower bracket finals matchup. And we'll start with Tribe Gaming. Now, Tribe, they got to sit back. They got to watch the series against Inco Stalwart and Luminosity. But as you said earlier, they've had to make this miracle lower bracket run. How do you feel like they are feeling coming into this one?
Well, Tribe is a team that's strong on hardpoint consistently, and it's exciting to watch. They make aggressive breaks, but to make an aggressive break, you've got to rotate around the map, and they have to deal with the SKS of Lucasen and the absolute lockdown that they have over long-range areas of the map, and that's going to be something that's going to challenge rotations every time.
I would say absolutely correct on that one. I think it'll be interesting because they don't match up quite as well as Luminosity does. Obviously, you have Blur, who's an SKS primary, and there's a couple players on Tribe that can do that, but they're not nearly as experienced with the SKS as Blur is. So we'll see what they end up doing. I know they've been running through a couple different players using it over the last couple months. They haven't stuck with one. A lot of it also going to come down to those map picks.
The difficult part about Tribe's run here is the fact that Inco already knew their mistakes coming in from Luminosity and will probably make better decisions when it comes to those map choices. And also the fact that for Control, Tribe is really good. But in Hardpoint, we did say that they're going to be a really good team, but unfortunately, Wolves actually cracked the code when it comes to beating Tribe in their best game mode, and Inco possibly had that code for themselves.
All right, on the opposite side, Inco Stalwart really never felt like they got in this series against Luminosity. Yes, in the S&D, they were able to pull this one back, but it just felt like they were on the back foot this whole time. I'm hoping that they're able to go ahead and reset the mental and bounce back, but what do you think they need to do here to get this victory over Tribe?
Really, I think that patience is going to be something that's involved a lot in success, especially on hardpoint breaks. When you have teams that are anxious to get on the hardpoint, anxious to stop that counter counting up, they might run on and try and break with 1 or 2, and that patience to be able to break with 3, secure the point, or even, the defuse in S&D that's going to be a huge factor.
Mod 6, everyone. Look at this. Just a natural on the desk breaking down this series matchup. But to get us into our lower bracket finals, let's send it on over to Shift and Proper.
Why wasn't Mod 6 with us the whole weekend,
Yeah,
brother? That's a
Great
good
question.
breakdown. I love it. Always good to see him. Also, I'm going to need to give it to you later, Mod 6, to figure out what exactly you've done to manicure that beard to such great lengths and such very
I am inspired by that beard.
It's very nice. It's very nice. But with that said, we were sitting here kind of going back and forth, debating. And I'm just going to say, we haven't seen the series layout yet. But once we do, oh, there it is. Never mind. I was going to say, if you're Inco Stalwart, you got to get rid of either Summit or Firing Range is fine. But for Tribe Gaming, getting rid of the Hacienda, that makes a little bit more sense. I'm glad, though, that Inco didn't follow up with the same vetoes that they did with LG, getting rid of Hacienda, because I think they had actually played that map pretty darn well. But that does mean that Takeoff is here. Yes, the SKSs, you expect there to be a lot of them for the side of Inco. But for Tribe Gaming, they're also 3-0 on the map.
For what it's worth, I was totally right in guessing the vetoes. Anyway, here we go, starting things off. Takeoff map number 1 on Hardpoint, and this was the one consideration that if you're gonna get rid of Hacienda, if you're Tribe, you have to be ready for this map mode combination.
Yeah, have to have it. And the thing is, they are ready for this. They've played it at pretty great and considerable length throughout their run thus far, with convincing tallies, mind you. As it looks like we very well may have a bit of a restart here. Some players are stalled out. Obviously, Marshy kind of looking from left to right, wondering what's going on. Bolo still wants to frag. But maybe we could take a look a little bit longer at that overall series layout, because the conversations at this point, like now that we've actually got significant results to go off of, the predictions become a little bit more simplified when it comes down to who's taking care of what. And another interesting little alpha choice here, Inco with the first ban, not just taking away Firing Range, but taking away Annihilator. They said, hey, Tribe, it's on to you if you want to take away the Sparrow or not.
Yeah, I actually really appreciate that coming through, because, you know, here in COD Mobile, I don't think that well, no, you and I actually casted over one series. I don't remember what it was. It was during the group stage we actually saw the Sparrow come out. But, yeah, very annoying to deal with, especially leaving that ball in Tribe's court, right? But being able to take it away, expect that Purifier and Claw combination, obviously, to continuously come through. But I kind of want to take an even deeper dive to this map number 1 here, Alan, especially with Takeoff, like we were talking about. You got to have it if you are Tribe. They have played it 3 times through this entire stage 5, and they are 3-0 on it as well, beating the likes of Wolves, 250-220, 250-133 against Stamina, and 250-112 versus Scars.
Yeah, very convincing results for both teams on this map mode combo to start us off. But the standoff, search, and destroy, we've already said it a handful of times this weekend, but you have to feel like if you're going to come away with a map 1 win if you're Tribe, you're feeling really solid about your opportunity to turn this into a 2-0 early, largely due to the fact that we have not seen Inco play the standoff, search, and destroy at any rate. And then you get eventually to the raid control for our guaranteed first 3 maps. Yeah, Inco's played it once before, but on the side of Tribe, it would be our first look with them on the raid control. So looking at those 3 maps in particular, we've got a 50-50 battle here for map number 1, a very crucial map, I would say, for Inco. And then you've got a standoff search that I think everyone in the venue is saying that should be a Tribe Gaming win, just because Jez has dominated that map so far, even though this weekend has gone to a lot of overtimes on that map for Tribe. And then who knows with the raid? Again, it's not really any significant results that we can go off
of that previous LGV Inco Firing Range hardpoint. Like, Lucasen was still dropping 40 bombs for the L. So, I mean, it's just about capitalizing on top of it, right? You know, Inco kind of got their first taste versus North America, and we've kind of talked about this amongst ourselves, but we didn't actually talk about it on the broadcast, is that this is actually their first real look at fighting another Western team. So, when you're thinking about it, Stark playstyles, maybe. You're able to at least really lean on Lucasen with that SKS, but the SMGs really need to be on point. They got to lock it in, because you know that Tribe Gaming are going to have just about all corners of the rim squeaky clean.
Yeah, on the opposite side, just to kind of flip the conversation. Immediately over towards Tribe Gaming in this opening hardpoint. One of the things that we've noted a lot is we had questions at day number 1 about would Tech be able to show up? Would Bolo be able to kind of help support? And in moments in this lower bracket run, they've done that. That has to be here once again, because Marshy can't just go breaking in hard points by himself again today.
Yeah, and that question while we were watching, you know, Tribe versus Wolves, Marshy was that guy, and we're posing the question, well, who's going to step up to help? Bolu was that guy and stepped up in such a massive way. Even though like Tech, had a very shaky map number 1. We want to talk about the resilience of a competitor, really bounced back through the rest of that series and reminded Wolves why Tribe are number 1 NA.
Yeah. And as you'd mentioned, just kind of casually there, it is really kind of interesting how the bracket and groups have formed. Inco has yet to play another Western team. Until today. So maybe something there about West versus East teams in the grand finals.
Yeah, I'd say consistency is one thing that you definitely want to see
in the grand finals.
Yeah, I'd say consistency is one thing that you definitely want to see out from this Tribe roster as a whole, but mostly Tectonic, right? Is that you really do need this guy to be on point. As flexible as they are, you really just want to be able to see that come through in fruition, because if there's one thing we definitely saw uncharacteristically from Tribe, it was in that first go of things versus Wolves, where they kind of got thrown off kilter, and then through all the lower bracket run, that's when we got to see the Tribe gaming that we saw all through stage 4.
100%, and that flexibility is something that now all of a sudden we kind of move the spotlight over towards Lucas, and yeah, he's been unbelievable with this SKS. But in moments during the respawns that we just came off of, especially in the hard points, that KD means very little when it comes down to actually getting on the OBJ. We called for the firing range. Pull out this operator. Get into the hard point. Help your squad out. Because, yeah, you're doing great with the SKS on these rotations, but you see just kind of a lot of inefficient numbers come through, largely what these operator usages, until it felt like it was a little bit too late. This was a great moment to keep them tight, but once the game got out of hand, you kind of felt like Lucasen was just relying on the SKS to get his eliminations when he was holding on to, I think, this operator right here. He's at 27 kills. It's 129 to 96. I don't think he pops this until it's like 210 or so for LG.
Yeah. It was the first time that we ended up seeing it. I mean, even right there, you got to see a glimpse of it. 30 and 9, all with the SKS, but there was no follow-up beyond that. And even though Lucasen, pulled out the claw, was able to find some damage, some elimination, sure, it's whatever.
The game's out of hand. Like
it's already gone. Yeah. It's already way too late when you're going up against this Luminosity squad that are so willingly and also able to constantly pull out their operators, utilize their resources in any means necessary to be able to put themselves inside the hard point and generate time.
And interestingly enough, and I could go ahead and I think make this wager here.
Yeah.
He was a 1.96 coming into today. Both hard points were great for him when he had the SKS in hand, but that summit control, Lucasen was absent. That KD today has slipped down to a 1.5, which is still incredible.
That's so, it's so
why am I coming across like, God, this guy's so bad? I mean, it's still so good. But that summit control, I have to imagine, is why that KD has slipped down, because at one point in that firing range hard point, he was nearly 3.0 positive.
It's just, in my opinion, as many eliminations as they're able to find. Like, I'm not going to sit here and downplay how talented this guy is, but the overall chemistry and fundamental needs to be followed up afterwards. We've been really hitting on this point continuously, and I don't want to, beat a dead horse here, but this is where we need to see the SMGs really come alive, especially against Tribe. Playing up against all of these Eastern teams, you were able to meet their pace, but at least versus Luminosity, it was a little shaky outside of the search and destroy in certain moments of time in those hard points. Tribe are going to have all of that plus some more.
Yeah,
you know that they prepared for this.
Yeah, and just for what it's worth, I don't mean to make it sound like we're coming across harshly at Brazil. If Inco end up winning this entire thing, I don't think there's a question Lucasen's MVP. But the thing about it is, when you're trying to get to that grand finals, and in the mismatch that we had kind of seen in hard point time between LG and Inco, especially with players like Blur getting onto the hard point for significant time, you do want to see that come through in a selfless fashion. That's, I'm getting a lot of kills, but when needed, when called upon, I can also soak up that hard point time. So maybe being a bit nitpicky, but regardless, one more look back at this series layout. We've already talked about a lot of these maps and modes kind of in combination. We think that this takeoff hardpoint 50-50. If you win it, you're going to feel great about the rest of the series layout, no matter which side you're looking at. The standoff search feels like a must-win for Tribe. Question marks on the raid control, and then if we get to the fourth, we need to see immediate correction from Inco on that summit hardpoint. So maybe a little bit of pressure on this map set towards Inco that they have to find a way to respond, but it all starts here. Takeoff, hardpoint, lower final. Let's get it on.
Got to be able to really rely on these SKSs to be able to open up the floodgate for the SMGs. Rafa's going to find the first blood here as well, but not a whole lot less to speak of. You're not really upsetting the spawns for Tribe, not quite yet.
Jazz up top, lots of damage, lots of spam. Tribe fighting for the backside at spawns. Gonna work out. Only 9 seconds given away for Inco Gaming. Not a lot of eliminations for really anybody at the moment, but Tech, importantly to note, he is popping up that SKS, looking good with it so far. Kind of like Beat Mommy was saying on the desk, there are 3 ways to kind of go about the SKS gameplay for Inco. Either saying, that looks like fun, I'll give my hand at it, try to match it 1 for 1, smoke it out, take him out of the picture, or the third is just completely overwhelm the hard point, force them to have to make tough decisions. Bolu from behind, tried, clean on the kills, up to 25 points, and looking good for the scrap time.
I like the Porque no los dos kind of tactic as well, as we starting to look like some players are not moving across the map. Noel was one of those players all the way to the backside of the double ring, and yeah, looking like there is some conversations happening up on stage as well. So,
hardpoint identified.
I mean, even through the opening break, as little information as we were able to get, I definitely got to tip it to the SMGs for at least wanting to get in on the hardpoint. At the very least, as Triber just kind of running around and soaking up some hardpoint time. Jez still doing Jez things, and
missile inbound.
Yeah, I think that Inco just generally need to rely on just their opening breakoffs to continuously find space.
Hey, here's the thing, if anyone's familiar with competitive COD Mobile, you keep playing until admins say stop. We have not gotten that word yet. So at the moment, Tribe is just soaking up free time. This could get dangerous again. We've seen this before in multiple facets. So Tribe, 75-9. You can see Vague saying, all right, we're just going to keep going. And why not?
Competitive rules are competitive rules. I mean, all 10 players are very much so still in this lobby. And yep, Vague throwing his hands up, relaxing, having a little bit of a smile. And well, Jess just going to go ahead and walk around. Why not just boast some prize fighter gloves and yeah, the good old 1-2 on 3.
Looking good. This will win the rotation. Inco members starting to make a move, starting to shoot back. Look, we've seen this before. And now you're dealing with a 100-point deficit as Inco are finally starting to come out and starting to play. And you've got streaks, you've got operators. This could get really ugly really quickly. Tribe realizing the shots are coming back their direction, are going to use the operators to just completely put this game out of reach right off the rip.
Yep. That's exactly what's going to end up happening, especially with all the hard point time that got generated. Tribe very much so still set up. Marshy will find 2 with the sub. Jez fully streaked out of their mine, 14 eliminations. Vague also calling in a Hunter Killer drone on top of Jez's Predator missile, and oh, the kill feed is just not done glowing up in Tribe's favor.
Yeah, this is dangerous prospects here. Not just for map number 1, but if you mentally just get booned off of this. I mean, Tribe's ready to fight. They're saying, let's go, let's make it happen. Inco finally get a kill feed worth talking about. But I mean, it's 141-20. And we'll see kind of what happens as we go through it. But as we continue to mention, the word was play on. Decisions may be made later on. But I mean, Tribe, this is maybe a free map for him.
Starting to look that way, isn't it, Alan? I mean, the simple fact remains is that Tribe, ever since being knocked down to the lower bracket by Wolves yesterday, have been on the absolute warpath you'd had to expect for them to come out of the gates absolutely swinging. They will take this.
Yeah, Inco just looked like they're lost at this moment. Not really able to regain mentally. Again, we don't have any idea as far as what may have happened or what may not have happened, but all we can commentate on is the fact that this is all Tribe. 160-23. Inco having a real tough time even finding eliminations as they started to kind of get back in towards the mix again. And again, hard to expect it considering the fact that everything was tooled up when it comes to operators and specialists. But finally, Inco going to get some of their own, maybe a chance to start to put something together here.
Going in towards the second set of rotations here at the end of it. Yeah, we got to call a spade a spade. 166 to about 36. Scrap time gets soaked up here by Inco, but you look at the rotation going over back through the middle of the map. It is completely taken over by Tribe.
So we reset. Inco on the unfavored side, approaching over towards this mid fountain. Tribe back and forth in the kill feed, but with the high ground, have an opportunity to slay out around the hill. And that'll be enough for Marshy to have a chance to allow his teammates to move on forward. Just watching the crosses, making sure nobody contests from this outside area. Inco, a couple of response kills coming through, but again, a lot to be done here, not just on this hill, but of course in the overall state of the game. And as Tribe comes right back out of their spawn, finding clean eliminations. Lucas in for a double. nearly able to do it all himself, but Tribe superior with the numbers, get to 180.
180 counting on up. There's still a lot of time here left on P1. You also got to take a look at the spawns. Inco essentially have the better side of the map, but the way the Tribe are set up on the north side of the map, they are also setting up a nice little coordinated pinch, basically trying to funnel in Inco for that launch site itself. But when it's all said and done, you still cannot allow Tribe to soak up all this time off of P1. That'll be conceded. The back 10 seconds, 200 points on the horizon here for Tribe. 5
operators though for Inco. They are trying to get themselves in towards P2. But it's 200 to 40. This would have to be the most stellar operator usage we've ever seen for them to pull this back. You need a full 60 here, need to win the rotation to new, and then beyond that, we can start talking about further win conditions that would have to come out to make this comeback possible. Tried. Operators again of their own, using that to try to break from the front. High ground control goes their way. Noel, surprised by Bolu, and it's a full Tribe kill feed. The break is in, and Tribe can win here.
Looking pretty poised to do so, Alan. You got close spawns coming in. 5 and 3 in blue is Crozen, and soon Noel will fall. Operators being popped on Inco's side, but it's being answered back in kind. Tectonic there with the claw, up to 12 eliminations, just holding down this entire flank side, not allowing anybody to come from behind.
Win condition is still in play here for Tribe on this second P2 hardpoint. Inco looking to try to find a way to break on in and contest for as long as they can. Kills still showing up in favor of Tribe. Vague letting them know about it. No contest at the moment. Inco tagged up by nades, able to get through. Can they still find a way to extend this one more hard point? Because you can still win here if you're Tribe. Bolu letting them have it. And that will be 250 to 45 at the moment. And again, just because I know all of you out there are probably wondering what's happened, we don't know. All we know is the word was play on, and Tribe sure did that.
That's right. No admin said to stop playing, so we kept on playing on through the rotations. And when you get told to keep playing, you gotta keep going on as strong as possible. And hey, Tribe, sitting there, you saw Vague just sitting there, just having a little bit of a chuckle. He was just continuing to play on. Yeah, what are you supposed to do? Well, you just sit inside the hard point, you generate time, you just walk around, you find free eliminations, you get the resource advantage, you win by 205.
We've seen this before. We've 100% seen this before. You know, back during the Modern Warfare 2019 year, it happened on like a Hackney Dom, where a team was in the middle of an event, and one team kept playing, the other team put their controllers down. Results stood. You know, it's one of those things that comes with it, and it's not a new rule by any stretch of the imagination. So we'll wait to give a confirmation one way or the other for you, friends, as of course the referees doing what they do best to try to communicate exactly how things have unfolded. And not a lot for us to really take away from that, unfortunately. But
no,
I mean, we'll kind of see what goes from here. But I will say, if this result does stand, the result for Inco becomes very difficult, because it's a standoff search and destroy, which is one of Tribe's most preferred search maps.
Yep.
And then who knows what happens when they eventually would have to get through at least a summit hardpoint again.
Yep, 3-0 standoff search and destroy for Tribe. This is 100% for them as we take a look at the stats. 35 and 10 for Jazz. He was also just running around a lot.
At the beginning of those for boxing gloves. Yeah,
he was vibing. Yeah. It's again, you brought up a great point that when this and if this stands, the mental for Inco needs to be an immediate.
You have to regain.
Yeah, exclamation point regain, please. Look, you were able to do it, especially against Luminosity.
Sure.
You know, they were certainly down, but never out after losing that standoff hardpoint map 1. But then going into the raid search and destroy, they immediately clapped back after being down 4-2 on the half.
Indeed, indeed. So as we kind of were alluding to verbally, there's the visual representation of the pathway that would have to come through. And going into this opening map, we said it was kind of a 50-50 with the results that we've seen, both teams preferring to play takeoff hardpoint. I'm sure both were happy to see it pop up for map number 1. But whoever were to come out on top of this first map would hold a certain significant advantage towards trying to get to the grand finals. It would be a revenge chance for Inco against LG. Otherwise, it would be a rematch of Stage 4 finals between Tribe and LG. So that's kind of what's underway and at the hands of what could possibly be to come.
You saw even the trophy on the stage. So much to play for. So much on the line. We have been building up 3 years straight for this exact moment of time. Gotta put it all out there.
And on the other side, we talked a lot about Tectonic, rightfully so, because he's been kind of the big central personality and star for this Tribe team, kind of alongside Bolu over the last couple of years. But how impressed have you been with Jez so far in this tournament? I mean, coming into the team as an 18-year-old, first year competing, they trust him to snipe on Search and Destroy. They trust him to be one of the flex slayers in Respawn. He's been lights out. And his KD may not be in the top 5, but his role that he fulfills for this squad has been crucial towards not just the success of Tribe on the year, but more importantly, he's been kind of the guy that has locked in some of the key Search and Destroy plays. As we look back over towards Jez yesterday, it was weird to see the Annihilator pop, but
yeah,
I mean, this shows why you just don't want someone like Jez to have this.
Also just making sure that they hold on to the shot when it's utmost necessary to pull the trigger. And yeah, I think the caption for that, the LOL what, is just perfect, because like even when I was casting over that call, I was rightfully losing my mind, because it's just how quickly it all happened. 5 kills within 12 seconds. Yeah, with the Annihilator on takeoff, on Respawn, that's crazy. But even beyond that too, on the upcoming map mode combination,
yeah,
this is legitimately Jez's playground. With the sniper, wallbang spots, jump shots, rotations, all with the sniper, quick scopes included. All-star talent at such a young age.
Yep. He's been one of those guys that is definitely, I think we could easily label as a superstar in the making, if not a superstar that's already arrived for us here. And I'm sure Tribe very excited to have him on board for, will hopefully be an extended period of time in their hopes of continuing their North American regional dominance, so to speak. A little bit less cemented though with LG in the Grands. Tribe trying to work their way back after their loss to Wolves, but you have to feel like if we do get that rematch, fireworks could be coming through. Still awaiting word though, what's exactly coming through, so we'll step away for now. Don't go too far though. We could be back very rapidly for either a map 1 replay or a map 2 continuation of this lower finals. Things out, and the update after the bracket and after everything was going on It will stand. Tribe 250-45 will be cemented as we will continue on to the standoff search and destroy. This puts the whole series layout into a very different perspective, not only because it starts to slightly favor the Tribe squad, but more importantly, for those 5 young men, can they find a way to recuperate, regain, and try to get back into this series?
Oh, fist bumps are out. You can see the smiles across the face from what little they can actually show. They need to have it here. Inco need to bounce back as best they possibly can. Albeit in search and destroy, we kind of counted them out versus Luminosity. They were able to do it then. Now this whole thing about composure brings into a whole different conversation here at the standoff. Tribe's best search this weekend.
Here we go. Inco tasked with the offense first and foremost. Quick hit over towards A. Saying, let's go. Let's get into this series. Tribe, as usual, still set up to try to contest this. Bolu for first blood inside of Cubby. Vague working alongside with him. They'll both combine for the first 2 eliminations. Inco stuck behind the tank. Vague says, my time to go. Good help from Abad. And now the pistol out, but Inco respond with eliminations, just not quite enough. And the aggressive offense countered by just an aggressive setup for the defense.
Yeah. No, I mean, that setup right there, specifically for Tribe, is just what we have come to know and expect. You know, you get tractor control, you make sure that somebody's always inside a cube. The cross from Delhi is always kept in mind. For this next offensive attempt, going to be a little bit more of a gas station alleyway control.
First blood, Vague switching things up by playing frontside Hotel. Marshy just behind. That was a play through gas station. It turns into a 2-for-1 exchange favoring the Tribe defense. The bomb also down just outside the hotel stairs. So advantage once again kind of early, leaning towards Tribe because they got a lot of forward defensive positions that Inco need to clear.
Timing is going to be everything here for Bolu, playing on the statue tank. Player number 5 is going to be Crozian, would be the first point of contact, but try to run back inside of Bakery. They will be dealt with. It is just so timely. Just the pouncing off the information leaves Rafa in a 1v3.
As an SKS as well as a Switchblade. Whichever tool is best for the job. Nate at the top, desperate in nature, not going to land for Vague, but will regain and rejoin his squad mates. 3v1 situation. Bomb still down inside a hotel. Bolu sees a shoulder. Was that information mutual? Oh, it was, but Rafa not quite able to land. Now in towards Bakery. Help is here for Tribe. In fact, all 3 members are going to have a pretty good look as they try to trap Rafa inside of White.
Oh, slide out, and blunder ensues. And yeah, you know, the biggest difference maker is just how proactive Vague is being just in those first 2 rounds that we've honestly seen. And even dissected it through the other 3 times you and I got to cast Tribe on this map mode combination. Just wherever Vague can be with an SMG in hand, he's always fishing for that first blood.
100%, and this Tribe defense has been, I would say, stalwart beyond recognition. I think of just about any other squad. It's when they get to the offensive side that their vulnerabilities start to creep up. So if you're Inco, I think your goal here is to try to find a target of 2 on this offensive side. And they're going to try to flush things out, heading Marshy's direction towards Fridge. Trophy system taken care of. The push is still on. Defensively, Tribe trying to rotate back just in case help is required. And this does mean the middle of the map stays relatively open, although Inco will not possess that information.
Big moment can come around here for Marshy. We know how much he loves that back alleyway outside of Delhi. Throws some shots into that. Causes considerable doubt. Are you going to push this? Marshy thinking about it, just some pre-aim, but everybody recollects himself as they try to rotate over towards A.
And you need to use nades here for Inco to try to get some of these Tribe members out of these key positions. Bolu inside of Cubby.
Watch out!
Not tagged up by the flashes. That one will land. Help is over the top of this. Jez is here to help support. As Rafa may have caught a bit of a route. Stuck it in from behind. Has Jez in front of him. Trigger discipline executed for not quite long enough. The trade is good and Tribe still hold the numbers, but Luke is in. Takes Vague right off the top of the bomb site, giving his team a chance.
Bomb patty cake on that picket fence. A little reposition again will be happening after Vague goes down, but Bolu doesn't have to move out from Cube. Proactive play coming through from Marshy all the way in the backside of the warehouse.
This is just 2 scopes that are left here for Inco. Good first shot on the tech. Flank again, like you mentioned, is on the way. Bolu still holding inside a Cubby. This is a tough clear for Inco, even though it's a 2v2. Crozian would have to essentially pop off for a little slide peek and quick scope onto Bolu. There it is. Misses the shot to the pistol. Not going to get away.
Finish the mission.
Following up, Luke is in. Able to at least secure the trade. But the question is, where is Marshy? And the answer is, he's right behind you. Luke is in, stays alive. Pistol. Resets, creates a buffer, but the clock has expired. And with that, good discipline from Tribe to secure
had to go for that ego challenge. This is the only hope to be able to get that win condition. You can see Marshy right there just smiling, kind of laughing a little bit, able to finally capitalize on their ever so loved alleyway flank.
The objective,
and again, it's all really coming down to just a little bit of a mishap. You try to make that flank play happen through the middle of the map, you don't have the cover to look at Grandma's.
Yeah, it's true. Early numbers advantages lead to these kind of rogue routes, finding success. Inko, a different look, aggressive, in towards Marcy's direction at Deli, and they will isolate for the pick. Tribe trying to recover, but Lucas then makes sure nobody pushes through the A site. Best look so far on the offense for Inko. Plant is down. Forward positions that Tribe have to clear. The Bolas found a bit of an angle deep. And how about that shot from Jez? Tech also in the mix. The kills are all coming the way of Tribe. Dad, though, an opportunity to try to isolate some of these members. Has a chance to look over the top. Also has nades that he can play with. Bomb's being defused though, and Tech will just hold for it. Dad never getting a look.
No, they really, really difficult there in that 1v2, right? When you get that first pick, more often than not, in historically Search and Destroy for Call of Duty, you're always expecting for the challenge to come through for the trade.
Sure, yeah.
It never came through. So in Dad's defense, yeah, I mean, you might want to go check the bomb maybe in that 1v3, but it never comes through. 4 rounds in, all in favor of Tribe.
And pretty darn convincingly as well, that retake. Woo-wee. Inko given some space this round over towards A. Tribe trying to recollect by playing a bit of a delayed retake, and it's not going to work out. First 2 kills once again good for Inko. Jez wanted to give it a look, but inevitably not able to find too much. Dad mid-map, Marshy trades. Some control here for Tribe again as the bomb is still planted with a 4v3 in favor of Inko.
And the flexibility coming through from some of these players, kilos in hand as well. Just the wall bangs absolutely sublime, but the push over towards A is successful. Time ticking down to 30 seconds, and Jez, Marshy actually splitting themselves off from one another.
Jez looking for an angle on the backside of this bomb site, trying to make life a little bit easier for Marshy on the reclamation through barrel. Noel in the corner, shots ringing out. Noel has yet to move. 15 seconds, have to go. Marshy predicting the corner, but the shot's not quite going to land. Noel secures the kill, and on the flip side, Jez cannot get through the cut. And that'll be a first round for Inko. I've still maintained 2 would be successful for them on this offensive side.
Would. Hey, 2 was all they needed against Luminosity to fully come back in the Search and Destroy, but you're messing with a different belly of a beast here of Tribe Gaming on standoff. Wonder what the adaptation is going to be. Thinking that it's going to be all through the middle of the map. Look at Tribe completely giving up all the space in the world, inviting Inko in.
The difference is Fake is actually going to be playing through mid-map, so he can actually pitch behind us rather quickly. The counter nades for Tribe are landing, and they're landing hard. Stuns, flashes, nades, even the gunfire coming in favor of Tribe. Numbers as the bomb is planted. Can you survive through this 40 seconds? Nade over towards elbow. Does it land? Noel sees Jez through the cracks of the barrel. That'll work out to try to make this a little bit easier on the life count. Vague on that quick pinch. Crozen trying to walk through boxes. He did not see the Tribe members coming through, but still finds the first. The pistol in hand. Inko repositioning, but they can't go too far. The bomb's not planted for this. They have to still hold around Tractor and Cubby, and as they make their way back through, Rafa gets the first. Rafa, as he gets the second. Knife is out. He's not able to get there. The timing, though, he still collapses. He's slicing. He's dicing, and Inko get the second.
Rafa going absolutely massive on the main stage. Pop off, young man. Well done indeed. And look, if you're Tribe and you completely give up the A bomb site like that, your retakes need to be on point. It's the same post plant that we saw from that previous round. As you see there again, Rafa just threw the knife and then immediately going to the pistol, be able to clean things up. 14.
Oh, and how about Rafa? Little heat check on the Marshy. Tectonic in the back will secure the trade, making safe the flank. But early map control, trying to be forced for Inko, and Noel will get caught. So numbers early with Tribe, but a lot of time on the clock here for Inko to try to figure out how they want to set themselves up.
Basically giving up so much space. You can see here with Dad thinking with the idea, maybe I push all the way through the alleyway, but Frozen, he's got the A-bomb on lock, especially with the sniper shots like that, take it down Bolu.
You know Jez is saying, you want to dance, brother?
Yeah, that's his side of the map with a picket fence.
So Jez will move over towards that corner at boxes, seeing if he can catch any information off Crozen. Fake, bomb in hand, working alongside of Jez, connects onto Lucas and Dean. Dad on the long route, coming forward, Crozen, stunned up, flashed, Vague, taking space. On top of that, you do have a little bit of assistance through the middle of the map. Tectonic gets a couple of shots into Crozen, who does stay alive. The trade good as Dad comes back through to capitalize on the isolation in mid-map, 2v2.
Post plan has one on Statue. Crozen gonna be able to take down Vague, throwing shoulders, seeing where the play is gonna be coming from. And Jez, he's not gonna have information that all the players are coming from this.
This is just quick scope city from Jez. No nades, just the scope. Might be all he needs. First shot lands! Inko ends him! What? Oh my God!
We talked about it. Jez lives for these moments. Take a look at it one more time. You can't write a better story than that. Post-plant situation, 1v2. You set quick scope, he'll take 2 to go.
Oh my! Tribe now up 5-2, playing with a little heat check of their own. Down towards gas station, it gets denied. Inko still trying to keep the tempo up. The 3-man hit does work out for first blood to the back alley, and that's enough for Inko to hold the numbers and back away.
Are you shooketh, Inko? Probably not. They still have fun first blood, but they're giving up a lot of space here. Bolu pushing up here with the CBR fort. Just going to be waiting to see if anybody pushes through the gas station. It's pretty typical, especially after fighting first blood, but statue control very much so still in play here for Vague.
Tex trying to rotate over to assist. Jez, just keep him that side of the map, Lucas. Still trying to contest with some wall banks. This is a very passive defense, though, for Inko, and it can get punished if the bomb gets down, largely because you have the long flank being washed into safe position. You've got Vague, who could safely get back to cover by tank, and Jez could just decide, what does he want to watch? Do you want to watch mid? Do you want to watch A? He may just do both at once, considering what we've seen from him today.
Gonna start pushing up. Gonna help let this bomb go down, but you have coverage across the tractor, so now Jez can back all the way up towards statue, play for the post plant, but the retake is coming through very quickly.
Tech, well done to get 2 on the backside of tractor. Oh boy, Jez. No, not this time. Luca's in. Will shut down any potential heroics. You can hop now. Bolu, timing. Luca's in, sees him over the top of the bomb site. And Inko gets the 3.
Look at the smoke even came out across the picket fence, just like, we're going to cut off the line of sight one way or another.
Look at me.
Yeah, I don't even know if you would even care to have the smoke in front of his face. He probably still knows the wallbang spots.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, counting the one picket fence at a time. Getting themselves on the board for defense are Inko so far. This time they're not going to give up that much space. Got a full flood coming over
They're going to
defensively.
push through this. Yeah, they're pushing through. All these nades go over towards boxes. Noel gets forward. Tribe have given away a lot of space. They may not 100% know that this position has been kept. So for Tribe, looking largely at a play-through hotel. But look at Inko. They free up Noel to get forward and then say, he's got all of A. Let's go help out in the backside of B.
And I love this. Just very swift rotation. Didn't see any nades. Didn't see a lot of pushback over by A. Quick rotate all the way back into the overside of Delhi. Rafa, Dad, coupling along together. Thinking with the idea that they want to push through over by Alley, but you'd have to assume that's going to be over here.
Oh, Noel. Oh, that's information. Tribe could isolate here. Luca's in trying to help on the cross. He needs to try to keep Noel from getting overwhelmed, because here comes the rest of the Tribe, knowing they possibly have a free kill in front of them. Luca's in just looking for information off the jump. And Tribe is taking a long time to try to break this down. They're going to use nades to try to flush out Noel, who does reposition. They may not know he's still here. Oh, now they'll know. Flash will connect. That's actually a stun through. Bolo on the slide! Shut down by Noel. Still a good 1-for-1 commitment. Luca's in over the top. Sniper battle with Jez. Dead on the flank, caught out by Tribe as Marshy gets both on the long play. Vague, free to plant as he tries to get it down over towards B.
Lucas and Crows in 2v4. And they both have snipers, Alan. This is going to be very difficult. And they're isolating themselves as well. Vague get some shots. It's just information on the Crows, and you legitimately don't need to do anything when Jess is watching the cross.
Creating space, creating time. Vague needs just to find one more. It's Crows in. Back towards his spawn. Barely a hope. Maybe not even a prayer. 20 seconds. Tech over the top, smoke, but Vague responds with the pistol. It's map point for Tribe.
Vague adding a little bit of extra there after taking down the first. He's just cool, calm, collected. Just knows that it's just strictly business coming all the way through for Tribe. And again, you know, Marshy shutting down that flank play was really the only thing that Inko had up their sleeve to potentially stop that play from happening.
Yeah, agreed. Inko defensively double stack over through Hotel. Marshy's so lucky to be alive right now. Also got the read that if there's going to be 2 players in Hotel, we may be able to get forward on towards A quickly. Good kills. Would have been nice to have if you're Inko in this position, because you've completely left the A site wide open for Tribe to take.
Bomb going down here for Vague. Look at what it's planted for. It's planted for that very long line of sight that Jess is playing, but unaware. Rafa's pushed all the way up through L.
This could be a first blood that would favor Inko's retake attempts. And they do catch out, not just Jez, but also Bolu trying to hold inside a cubby. Clean kills coming out for Inko. Someone can hop right here. It's going to have to be a long play, 1v5 for Marshy. Not going to have it happen. Flawless round for Inko to get to 4.
Can't ask for a better outcome right there. Just a swift adaptation coming through for Inko. Instead of sending players like Dad all the way on the flank past the gas station, they just recognize, hey, nobody's pushing us over by the BS&D, so why don't we just go ahead and take the courtyard, take Brown, and put one player of Rafa's caliber of what we've been able to see through the day in L to be able to upset that line of sight that we all know that Jez loves to play.
That's factual. Another passive look here for Tribe, trying to see if Inko will once again flirt with the temptation of trying to get an aggressive flank out. This time, no such antics, it's just nades. That battle for backs continues to be a very high-pressured point of contact as Vague will fall. Crozen for good first play.
Take down the bomb. It's on the statue. You'd have to assume, especially for Inko, that you took down Vague. That is more often than not the OBJ player. This play for pick, offense to defense, has worked out that in favor of Inko. They don't have to do anything. They're still playing for the retake.
Unfamiliar with, Tribe make the gut check call saying, hey, we're going to keep playing on. And unfortunately for Inko, the result does not go their way. And now a massive advantage for Tribe as we continue to kind of reevaluate over the overall series.
Well, I mean, we even talked about it while map 1 was happening. Look at this COD mobile rule set in a nutshell. You keep going until somebody says stop.
Yeah.
And until somebody says stop, I mean, Tribe were already about like 114 up. And
yeah.
Again, you know, that's just what we do here in COD Mobile Esports. You just have to continue to play on until the admins are able to come to that diagnosis. So, find ourselves here, 2-0 lead for Tribe off of that takeoff hardpoint and in a blistering standoff search and destroy. It's almost what we came to expect to a certain degree, sure. But to reverse sweep Tribe Gaming, especially coming into a raid, again, I gotta echo the point, your SMGs need to be on fire.
And the other part about this is we consider the biggest strength towards Inko, and it's Lucas in with an SKS.
Yeah.
How do you get him into the best positions possible on both sides of the control points, whether it's defensively or offensively, to make sure his subs have an easier quality of life getting into those tight spaces where they're the most effective? So you expect to see things like long-range play from cash window, long-range play from laundry window, or the opposite side in towards art or towards top bedroom, maybe even try to win mid-map. Those are all very key positions that you hope that Lucas can keep doing what he does best, and his subs can follow up, take away that space, and hopefully find advantages further deep.
It's just how consistently they need to be in those specific positions, because we have seen Lucas in, albeit again, you know, I'm not going to knock on the guy. He's
nasty.
Heckin' nasty, yeah. So you got to be looking at him to be able to continuously play that selfless role, the tectonic role, right?
Sure,
to where
sure.
always putting themselves in those longer lines of sight to make sure that the SMGs at least have the lay of the land, rather than what Lucasen can get away with and has continuously through a lot of different matches this weekend, was getting in your face of the SKS. As comfortable as that may be, you need to be able to showcase what your role actually entails for a map like Raid.
100%. It can't be one-dimensional.
No.
Even though you're great at it. This is a game that we've seen, and we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
Where this is no longer a we're just better so we win type game.
Yep.
Everyone's dynamic, everyone's flexible, and the overall level of competitive COD Mobile has escalated significantly from last year to this year. But a raid control, again, it's a must-win from here on out for Inko. Need the reverse sweep to get back into the grand finals for a chance at $700,000. Otherwise, Tribe will make it an all-North American affair, in which Bobby, I'm sure, was already farming impressions for. He's probably got the drafts already built out. Here we go. Raid control.
Oh, yeah. Probably got at least 5 tweets ready for that. But here we go. Offense first. He's coming through for Inko. Definitely love to see it come through convincingly, but 2-for-1 goes the trade, evening things out. Tech Jez, Bolu all showing up with the kill feed. Noel still here at ring, though.
Reinforcements defensively, very rapidly, though, on the way. Noel avoiding a large majority of the utility on the way. Can you find the kills, though? Counter utility for Inco looking solid. First tick of progress is good. Defensive numbers still persisting, though. A Tribe gets 3 straight. Lucas is up top, in towards Ard. Yes, gets the double. But with that said, the second tick of progress was not locked, and it's further being depleted.
Look at the positioning as well throughout the entirety of the map. Like, Tech is just chilling bottom bed, waiting for any flank to be coming all the way through. A lot of focus inside of kitchen. It's just one of Rafa who turns. He's going to be able to find one. Almost had Marshy locked down, but was dead to rights either way. But taking a look at the B zone, it's completely chalked by Tribe. Whether you love it or hate it, it's the right call. You give up the 3 seconds, you hold on to lives.
No, I think that's the right call on both sides. Rafa is just a nuisance in the back, pulling Tribe defenders back at the same rate for Tribe. You just don't want him to exist in kitchen when you have to rotate over towards A. So it's kind of a give and take situation for both squads. 21 playing 20, tons of time on the clock. Just comes down to how do you want to try to get across and find an exit. SKS is at times. Lucas is likely to lock down one lane. You Tribe. Vague letting them know about it. No contest at the moment. Inco tagged up by Nates, able to get through. Can they still find a way to extend this one more hard point? That tree's just hanging out.
Yeah. Bottom bed.
Yeah.
Mid-map push actually starting to ensue. Crozen's all the way in the backslide looking at jungle as well. There's a lot of work to do for Noel inside of kitchen. Is able to find one.
You gotta think, I mean, look, Tech is fine. If anyone gets onto the A zone, he's gonna have a really solid look back there to just pick him apart. Dad, Inco looking to put some pressure on towards the lives, though. 6 life advantage, thirdly occurring for Inco. More to possibly come, but as Dad drops, the rest of Inco will full commit. Once again, just saying, all right, we still got plenty of time to put you down to within single-digit life counts. Tribe's response is solid, though. And with that, we go 13v10. Tech now getting activated as he backs up, helping out the playthrough pool. And it's only 43 seconds on the clock, and all of a sudden, Inco, they have their own little bit of an obstacle to try to hurdle, but Tech could only come away with one.
Big trade from Rafa to finally get Tech out from that positioning. He's able to go on 5 in a row, though. That was their first life. Keep in mind, you, but regardless, everything stabilizes, but it's favoring Inco. You had 2 lives as far as the advantage is concerned. You can play for the trades here, but you got to get onto the A zone and stall the clock.
Yeah, this defensive setup for Tribe is forcing Inco to have to all hit through Tiki. They are on, though. Clock will stop. 2 life advantage for Inco. Vague from the window, waiting for the smoke to dissipate. Now has clear sight over what's on the zone itself. Tech, Bolu, combining. Marshy trying to recontest. 8v5. Second tick of progress on the way. Flank play from Vague, shut down. Lucas in, turns his attention up towards Muddy Window. Good for the double. Now towards basketball. Last hope for Tribe would have to come through. Trades, could be win condition. Could just jump on the zone as well. Whichever's more convenient for you. Marshy trying to clean out the flank. Boxing gloves out. Left, right punch combo. But Marshy's down to limited amounts of time and cannot get back to contest. Inco on the board first.
Now, diamond boxing gloves. I mean, that, first of all, seems very heavy on practice.
Legendary meme all across Twitter, but again, this team is just, again, the word for them is going to be resilience because of how many matches they actually pushed through, and a lot of the time, it wasn't even close matches. They absolutely dominated it.
I don't know if I'd call it a beautiful worm. It looked more like a dying worm, if you ask me, but you know.
Like
a worm's a worm.
Like a worm in water with some salt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Well, we're loading into the lobby right now. I think Vague's another player that has honestly been pretty underrated on the weekend. Obviously, not dropping those insanely high KD numbers like Jez and Tectonic, but especially as a flex player, he's had a pretty solid KD while at the same time bringing that OBJ contribution. So he's another player to keep an eye on. Marshy, we always expect him to do Marshy things, but it's Envy opening things up. First blood, Vague in the high tower right there. Gonna be able to find one. Shots on to Band as well. A little bit shaky to start. We have yet to see anybody hop on the objective. and it's finally going to be Marshy who hops in for a whopping 1 second.
That's a lot of seconds for you, and Marshy definitely knows how to pick up the points. Now, going in there very aggressively, that's going to be player number 4 coming in from Luminosity. Blur gets those kills, still forming that SKS, looking like it's going to be really good in this map. But take a look at the other side. There's actually no response whatsoever when it comes to those long-range engagements, looking like they really just want to go for the CBRs, the Krig 6, and also probably like one. Oh, I see actually a Switchblade. So again, if it really works for you, then go ahead, but you need to find some sort of counter up against Blur.
Yep, does look like he's still going to be rocking with the SKS. Obviously, Tribe has talked before about how they don't really like the weapon. Tectonic pulled it out for a little bit up against Inko, but we didn't see it have a huge impact for them. So with the Kilo being his weapon of choice, no surprise he's sticking with it right here. A pretty even P1 as the battle for P2 ensues, and looks like Spawn's going to go the way of Tribe. Marshy playing nice and sneaky right there. Tries to hit the flip, but not going to be able to get the turn for the kill. Jez going to get shut down as well, and a big feed for Luminosity to lock in a chunk of time right here. Bolu pushing up now. No reinforcements here for Luminosity. And they're in a tough spot. Solo's got to go big. He's able to find one. Blur does get dropped right there, and now Jez looking to go big. Solo one with the shorty before he gets traded out.
I mean, Luminosity was winning those gunfights, but it wasn't really high. It wasn't really a high kill count enough for them to actually go in for that spawn control, where they kind of just struggled in for that defense. And now most of the time being soaked up by Tribe. And as what you thought that Luminosity could actually win that particular hill, especially with getting a lot of those kills, not enough for them to actually anchor up the more favorable spawn, but they do have that rotation off into that next hard point.
Luminosity has definitely looked more solid on the early rotations. Seems like for the most part, Tribe's game plan has been bully your way into the hard point. We'll see if they can do that here, and Marshy doing his best to make things happen big in the backside as well. In the early rotations, not doing a whole lot for Luminosity Gaming. They are struggling to win these gunfights. Couple of Purifiers come out as well, and that's going to lock in that much more time for Tribe.
Now bringing out the Purifier helps them go in there for the break in this particular hard point. That's going to be really big for them. Not just that, sustaining it. Marshy still getting shot at, but with the Purifier in hand, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Freddy finally going down. He does get that double kill. Not only that, is on a 3 spree. Bowler brings out his claw, and it looks like it's a little bit spawning out of control. That's going to be very hard, because look at the next hard point too. The fact that 2 players from Tribe are also already there.
You can see the Luminosity players saving their operators right now, which is interesting given the gap that we've seen form. Obviously, really prioritizing this rotation of P4, but they don't have a whole lot of people here. A few break through. They're able to take out the remaining Tribe players that are there, but they gave up all the scrap time there on P3, and right now, in need of a solid setup and good spawns to be able to lock in big time right here. Blur waiting for somebody to rotate to that window side. He's got the gravity vortex ready to go. Gotta be careful, might run out of time, and he's able to get big value right there, but still not able to clear out the Tribe players. And now Envy looking to break on in. His claw gonna go to waste as well. And slowly but surely, this seems to be slipping out of the grasp of Luminosity as Tribe Gaming is snowballing left and right.
I mean, they do have a 100% win rate here in Takeoff throughout the competition in Hardpoint. They played it 3 times, and it looks like they're just so comfortable and such a good map pick for them. And they're just doing so well when it comes to these engagements. Obviously for Tectonic, he's going to be that anchor, that slayer, trying to get those points, knowing very well that the players from Luminosity is actually going to be spawning right over there.
Well, we talked about Tribe maybe not necessarily going to the lower bracket on purpose, but not really being worried about it, because we know they're a team that plays better when their backs are up against the wall. Well, it's the grand finals, and there's not a much bigger wall than that. Right now, they find themselves up by 110 points through this first set of hardpoint rotations. Major reset needed for Luminosity. Blur in the high ground, not going to be able to connect with the SKS. Marshy doing Marshy things on the bottom side, and once again, Tribe in full control. Luminosity just scrambling left and right, but no map control, no kills going through. Jez slaying out right now. He's on a 4 spree. And Luminosity just seems lost.
It's just Tribe always has the upper hand because they have high ground advantage, where you don't have much of sights here because you always have to think about the verticality of the map of Takeoff, and so far Tribe is actually using that to perfection. Tectonic doing such an amazing job at always stopping the push. 21 already to his name. Vague, Marshy also have operators to play with, and just as I said that, Tectonic gets that one as well, and looking like Tribe is outclassing LG here in their favorite map.
This is getting ugly really, really quick. Luminosity only able to muster 40 points, just not looking like the same team. And you gotta wonder if there's a certain degree of mental block against this Tribe team that has beaten them so many times over the past year. I don't know what it's going to take to overcome it. We see a couple big kills go through in the feed right here. Nobody in the hard point. Solo finally going to be able to occupy, but he can't win a gunfight either. And once again, it's Tribe in the hard point with the Purifier coming through. Vague goes big right there. Solo finally going to be able to survive, but seeming only like a matter of time.
Luminosity, you need to go and catch up, and for you, you need to have really good comms, kind of like your previous games. Let's have a Luminosity listen in.
Nice, we got point. Go new.
Yo, stadium stairs. One more.
Ball blue.
Top right half.
Nice.
Top right. One top blue, I think. One top blue. There's one on hill. One secret.
Nice. Push the point.
You can just hear the frustration already when it comes to those comms from LG. So different from their first game a while ago, but obviously it's because they have so much to catch up on. Yes, they go and capture this hard point, but obviously for Tribe, so easy to break every single time.
I mean, they've gotten a bigger chunk in the last little bit than we've seen them get really all game long, but hasn't really meant much given that there's a 160 point gap between these two teams. But this is not the first time that we've seen this. Very similar to what happened in Stage 4, only on firing range hardpoint. A very big Tribe win followed up by a dominant LG performance. It's not over yet, but man, oh man, they've got to, I mean, at this point, they've got to get like 3 straight full 60s, and just with the way that Tribe's playing right now, I don't know if realistically that's even humanly possible.
And for Tribe, they absolutely know that. Okay, get the scraps. We're going to plan for our setup here, and they're doing an amazing job at just playing the lead that they have. So very commendable stuff here coming in from Tribe, showing everyone how to actually play takeoff. But let's see if Luminosity can finally play Tribe's game and finally dictate the pace, because so far, Tribe is the one that's playing the guitar, and they're going to be the lead.
We were kind of curious if the stationary play style, the more static play style of Tribe was going to be able to match up against a more flexible play style of Luminosity. It definitely is. Obviously, the slaying that we're seeing Vague, Jez, Tech do up in those high ground positions is freeing the OBJ players to take more one-on-one gunfights rather than getting, what, double, triple chow in the hard point, and it has paid off big time. Tribe now only in need of 5 more points to close this one out. Luminosity starting to move upwards a little bit, but all Tribe really needs is one solid early rotation and should be able to lock in the win. Luminosity, let's see if they can pull off a miracle.
That's going to be difficult, because as Luminosity was soaking up the points in P4, the setup going in for P1, it was just not there. Tribe is already there with just 5 seconds left to go in to unlock this hard point, with 5 points left for them to go and win this first matchup. It's still going to be good. It's going to be big for you, Vague. Gets that Purifier kill, goes in this hill all alone, and yes, he secures it for his team. Tribe Gaming gets map number 1.
Well, just like that, winner's bracket advantage is completely gone. Tribe Gaming steamrolls their way through that first map, and a lot of that just felt like a confidence issue for Luminosity. I think one gunfight that we didn't quite see in the main POV, but looking out of the corner of my eye, I believe just Tectonic set up on that head glitch above P1.
So well in that S&D, so well in that control, and now looks like, yep, he's going to be that MVP for Tribe.
We know that Washi's the OBJ player for Luminosity, and he was in a blender all game long. Obviously, when your team doesn't have map control, it's easy from an outside POV to say, oh, he went 17 and 35, he cost his team. But when your team's not getting map control and your one job is to get in that objective, there's not a whole lot you can do. You're having to solo chow 2-3 Tribe players every single time you're going into a gunfight. And you got to get more help for him. He did everything that he could to get into the hard point, but your Slayers have got to do more. You got to push out that map control. Even the early rotations didn't really pay off anything for Luminosity.
You know, this is one thing that I noted up against their game against Inco is Tribe's version of them winning it to battle them out is to, number one, do close range, number two, buddy-buddy system, especially in a map as big as Takeoff where your life really counts because it's such a huge map. And not just that, the fact that they're always getting those power positions up in the 2Fs, up in that vertical point where obviously looking down you have more of an advantage, and the rotation coming in from Tribe is just so big as well.
Yep, it was pretty close off looking back, the fact that it was, I think it was like 30-30 at one point, and then just after P2, Luminosity could not get a foothold to save their lives. Steamrolled out of control. They, I think at one point it was like 40 to 160 or something. So that's basically a span where you're getting 10 and you're letting Tribe get 110, maybe even more. You got to find a way to stop that momentum, and I just didn't feel like their operator usage was good enough to do that. We saw a lot of wasted operators, a lot of hasty pullouts for those operators, and I think that cost them in a big way.
I feel like for them, it just really went downhill after P2 because yes, they were winning a lot of the gunfights, stopping the Tribe plays, but they weren't able to dictate the pace and anchor down the more favorable spawn, which is going to be by launch base. And you get to see it really good after this, but I mean, it was a little bit too late where after our second reset, Tribe already had so much of a lead already, and for Luminosity, always just playing that catch up. And obviously for them, they have to soak up all of the hard point, so they're going to be split as a team. So 2's going to be staying there, and also 2 might go in for the rotation, but they always just get gunned down every single time.
And look at what we said, they were like 30-30 at one point. It was 60 to 220. That's, if I'm doing my math correctly, a 190 to 30 run by Tribe. And like I mentioned before, we saw something very similar to that in stage 4. We saw a firing range hardpoint where Tribe absolutely obliterated them. It was 250 to 27 if my memory serves correctly, and immediately Luminosity bounces back and takes the search and destroy. They 100% got to make that happen here.
And not good news again for Luminosity here in Slums because they did lose this 6-8 up against Wolves. So with that being said though, I'm still not going to be particularly going in for the stats for this one because obviously we are going to see different gameplays and just teams waking up. We've seen that control matchup up against Inco where Luminosity woke up even though that is their worst game mode. So maybe they learned a thing or two because they were leading by a huge margin up against Wolves, but they let it go at the very end.
Yeah, it's a thing that this Luminosity team has struggled with for a while, is closing out whether it's games or matches. I don't know if it's, once again, a mental thing, because you know they've got the gun skill. You got Washi, who is one of the best snipers in the world. I think if Luminosity wins this whole thing, you could maybe make the argument that he's the best sniper in the world. You've got Slayers that can fly across the map like Band and Envy. Like, you know you got the gun skill, you know you have the chemistry. I've heard from so many teams about how good their communication is, and I think even when they were frustrated in the listening that we heard, they still sounded good. They're capable of winning this. It's all going to come down to confidence.
You got to close those S&D games down. They've already kind of faltered today with that first game that they had with Inco and S&D and standoff where they had a lead yet again, but dropped it. There needs to be a change of pace because Tribe is actually kind of the team where if you are going up against them and they're down, they can find a way to adapt, and I believe Luminosity can do so. We've seen it already before. They've had that raid search and destroy up against Stamina and did an absolutely phenomenal job, and especially in that control where all the odds were actually up against them, they can definitely make this work.
Yep, still a lot of COD Mobile left to It's a best of 7 series, and we're only getting started right here. Obviously, finishing in control if we go to a game 7. Not the most normal thing for Call of Duty in the past, but these guys are definitely prepared for it, and it looks like they are here and loading in to the lobby here on Slums Control. It is going to be Luminosity on the defensive side to start, which should be a big advantage for them if they can capitalize.
Ooh. You got to play with your snipers. Blur has a monumental job to try and get the search and destroy. Lineups are going to be there. So there you go. Marshy gets down. Ban gets that first opening pick. No, he does get 2 though, but then Bolu trades him out.
Definitely the better side of the trades for Luminosity. They're going to be able to make their way up, and right now actually trying to catch Tribe off guard. Jez going to take a little bit of damage. Bomb goes down there on B, and now Jez all alone. The 1v3, and obviously Luminosity going to look to play things passive. He's got a lot of map left to clear out, and it looks like he's going to go for every corner that he can, at least on this side of the map. And it seems like Luminosity has read it perfectly right there. They get the information from Envy, and just like that, should be enough to close out the round. Solo connects onto the shots, and Luminosity takes the lead off round 1.
Beautiful pick, and it was really that 2-piece that Ban did that kind of stopped the push coming in from Tribe. Obviously, just raining down utility down in bricks. That's going to be a really good start. And now for Tribe, though, knowing very well that they can, Luminosity can aggress. Let's see if they can finally get that as Ban gets 1 more. Second first blood for him.
The utility usage has been so good. They get the man advantage off the start right here once again. Nades do connect, and that's going to force Tribe back on the defensive side. Bomb is in hand. Don't know if there's any trophies available, but there we go. Washi, lethal with the sniper. Arguably the best in the world right now. Now 2 Tribe players remain right here with the bomb going down. He takes another down off the head glitch. That's not an easy shot to hit. Solo reads this next one like a book, but he doesn't even need it. Envy takes another down, and a strong start here on the Slums S&D.
Jez needs to step it up when it comes to those snipes, because if you allow Blur to do that and Washi as well, you're just going to have a very hard time. And what I already mentioned early on into this matchup, Luminosity is just so good when it comes to that util, and they showed it in game number 1, and now they're going to be showing it here in this S&D.
That one. And now Envy all alone, but he's got an SKS. And that's best case scenario for trying to take somebody off one of these long angles. Hits the wrap right here. Jez, will he stick it? He should have the time. Envy, the route's too long, and he gives away the round.
Envy took too long, and now if you give Jez that, pros don't fake. That was such good situational awareness for him to kind of just predict that Envy would probably just wrap around. Now, I feel like I'm not quite sure the feeling that you get when you know who you're up against. Okay, knowing this person, okay, he's not going to do close range. He's probably the type of person that will go and have a long wraparound. But you know what? That is a good opener for them as Bolu and Big finally gets to, and Bolu gets to as well.
You can feel the momentum shift. Washi gonna be able to find a couple, but he's all alone against 3 remaining Tribe players. Shorty in hand, and
Got a third.
Luminosity is just not capitalizing on these early sprays. Even when they get first shot, they just seem to lose the gunfights. They're going to be able to take down one of those Tribe players, but still 3 remain. And right now, in a tough spot once again, Envy's got the bomb in hand, but Tribe able to spread across the map. You got 1 player hitting the flank. That's going to be Marshy. And this is going to be tough to read. The bomb goes down, but with that information, there
a lot of players, but unfortunately for Blur, he didn't really go out. Really bad timing for him. Same thing though, going in from Luminosity, where they're going to be sending players down to bricks. Oh no, they learned their lesson. They're not going to touch it, just a tiny bit. Doing it a little bit slowly this time. But Bolu's, he does have a nade to play with. Another one.
Yes. Could not have thrown that one any better, and it's all down to Washi to try to clutch the 1v3.
Are we playing basketball right now, man? With the way the Tribe is actually doing all of these nade hits, it's just so
angry. He decided, oh, I'll poke the bear when we're on game point, and we'll see what happens. Tribe tears it up in that final round. A huge performance out of Vague right there. Top frag for the lobby by a mile. A whole lot of first bloods out of him. And just like that, matchup that started with Luminosity in the lead without a game being played. All of a sudden, that lead has not only disappeared, but Tribe Gaming's in.
D-Gon, bring it away.
Thank you very much, Beef Mommy and Bobby. Great start so far, just like Tribe Gaming. 2-1. Remember, Luminosity had the map advantage, and that got absolutely wiped out, and in an emphatic way, too, on that takeoff.
Look, here's the thing. All of these map mode combos in some form were played in.
You know, LG just felt super cut out of it here on a little bit of Washi in the S&D on Slums. We've been wanting to see throughout the whole tournament.
Getting outslayed, getting outmaneuvered, it's just everything that we've known that Tribe have been able to do.
Seen it really pulled out at all. So the guy that I'm actually looking at is actually Blur. Because yeah, Bandits have a hard time getting in towards the point, but Bobby broke that down.
They just have the advantage. Tribe winning the majority of the gunfights off the start once again. They get 4 players stacked onto A, and that progression is taking through quickly. Finally, Envy gonna get the better of them on a gunfight. Bay looking to spawn trap with the Purifier, but there's nobody spawning over here. Washi gonna be able to push through. They take the Operator out of the equation, and now an opportunity for Luminosity to regain as they start to fill up the feed.
Okay.
It's incredibly feasible to take a defense, or rather an offensive round as well. We saw Tribe and Inko go back and forth with it earlier on. But right now you gotta look at the Operator usage. 3 ready for Tribe, 2 good to go for Luminosity, a couple streaks ready as well. And if they can get this early outer ring setup, they win a couple of gunfights right there. Hunter Killer gonna go out. Bolu being as annoying as he can in Top Modern right there, or rather Top Laundry. Nade gonna connect for the hit marker, and they don't really have any challenge over here on Statue. They've yet to find a kill.
Band is doing a great job at holding down the spawns. And now backup also comes through. That's going to be Envy. Tribe going to be backed up in the corner. Band gets another one. Earns him that Hunter Killer. Fake is going to be actually going in there, getting that trade. Solo though with a Purifier is going to be really good.
Cross map right there, able to connect for 1, but does get shut down. Luminosity says, let's do it the old-fashioned way. The battle over A ensues right here. Blur with a big gunfight win. SKS doesn't realize Marshy's still win. SKS doesn't realize Marshy's win. SKS doesn't realize Marshy's win. SKS doesn't realize Marshy's
first close. They kept the lives really close. And now at the end, they just couldn't close it out because the last minute claw and for that defense and
not even a 1 for
Luminosity right now as we start things off. So far, 7 points for Tribe as they're both clearing out all the power positions here in 2F.
A lot of kills going through for Tribe. Haven't been able to lock in a ton of that hard point control though. As Band floods through the bottom side, he wins a crucial gunfight there, and just like that, Luminosity should be soaking up the time. Obviously, they're going to be looking to flip these spawns as well. Rotation to P2 going to be crucial, and Band right there going to slide on through, not going to hear the Bolu footsteps behind him, and just like that, Tribe back into the hard point.
Back into the hard point, getting and soaking up those points, but with 11 seconds left on the clock, rotation needs to pull through. They're early. 2 players already in there through driveway. Only greeted by 1 player from Luminosity, and Solo needs to be quiet. Jet spots him out. That's going to be...
Luminosity's got the control just like they want. Players coming up.
It's just going to show how consistent you are with the maps that you've been playing so far, because the maps that they chose, pretty good, pretty solid choices here. And for Luminosity, that choice of Hacienda hardpoint is definitely going to be really smart on their end.
Oh, apparently in stage 4, Tribe won standoff on S&D versus Luminosity in the grand finals, 7-3. So you got to think at every turn, the mental edge has to go to Tribe in this one. Once again, the one thing for Luminosity, their backs are up against the wall. They've shown they're resilient. They've shown that they're not going to get down just because Tribe has played so very well today. And really, everything goes out the window at this point. There's $700,000 on the line for first place.
I can't. It's like the map selection here is just kind of like a repeat of what happened, and it's just adding some more fuel to the fire. It's just showing up.
Is it an exact repeat, or is it slightly different?
Honestly, I'm trying to look at it. It's just slightly different. Like the order of it is slightly different, but the map choices of Hacienda and Takeoff being chosen for Hardpoint, same.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Control, Raid will always be chosen per tribe. So again, it's really impressive to see the copy paste here.
I mean, especially for that to be the map pick for Tribe, Luminosity able to keep things close. A good sign once again. I mean, that man gave it his all, no question about it. 59 and 28. I think that is the second highest kill count we've seen all tournament, and second only to the one and only Lucasen of Inco Gaming. But that trophy, all the glory, that's what's on the line right now, along with a whole lot of cash. Luminosity need one more game in order to push this to a game 7. We'll see what they can do here on the Standoff S&D.
You played it a while ago. You played it well. Time to close it out. It's more of the fact that they were using their utility pretty well early on, but it's just they kind of struggled at the very end. They were being read by a book when it comes to their gameplay with Inco. So with Tribe though, it seems like they're the opposite kind of team where they do so well at the very end, where in the beginning, maybe they're just trying to feel it out, try to see what kind of competition that they're dealing with, calculating everything that's going to be happening in their head mid-game, and then just crushing it out. So I feel like this is going to be a really close matchup.
Well, we got a lot to break down. We're going to send things back to our desk to get their thoughts on the matchup. Degon, who you got?
Thank you very much, guys. We finally have a Luminosity sighting, y'all. They did it. They're here.
Welcome to the stage.
And finally made it to grand finals. I mean, hey, that one was only up there because they were able to make it through the winners bracket, but it's nice for them to be able to show some signs of life. That Hacienda was quite convincing, if you ask me.
I think the biggest thing about this LG squad is I feel like they're still missing a mark here. We've gotten some improvements from some players, but there is a little part of me that wished that the LATAM SKS strat made its way into the core of LG's gameplay. But I'm not getting that, so I'm going to look silly for a while and let you guys be.
Well, I like the fact that last one was a close game, right?
Sure.
Tribe made him work for it. Tectonic just took over the server.
My God.
And was just tearing into him. Yet we saw how the team play worked together, how everyone almost hit at least 30 kills for Luminosity, and it was a team effort and a team win there.
And they're going to need to keep that up, by the way, because it's a standoff, search and destroy, as we've already framed up. It was a 7-3 as shown in the graphic in the winners or the grand finals, but it was also a 7-4 in the winners finals for Tribe against that undreamed now LG squad. So they need to be really boot camping something out here in this little break, because we know that this Tribe team is super dynamic. They love to change their looks on the fly, and LG's going to have to really come to the table with something new.
And not to mention, I mean, throughout the entirety of the Hacienda hardpoint, I mean, it's uncharacteristic as it really did feel like through the first set and maybe half of the second as well. Marshy was a non-benefactor. It didn't even feel like that they spawned in towards the map. But I mean, Tribe winning the standoff versus Search and Destroy twice on over versus Luminosity, definitely something that you want to see as a Tribe fan. Not to mention through the entirety of this specific tournament, they've been tearing it up on that specific map mode combination continuously. Sniper play, Marshy's flanks, every single thing about their gameplay on standoff search has been sublime.
The whole thing about this series layout is Tribe did what was required. They stole away one of LG's maps that we kind of attributed to being a favorite towards them. Now it's on LG. They have to do the exact same thing, and wouldn't you figure?
Remember yet, but that still can be rectified with one at a time. Two more maps to go, hopefully, for Luminosity. But man, that guy on your screen right there, he's in championship form. He was fragging out, and Tectonic is, one of the major reasons that this squad is together. Was chatting with Big earlier. He was saying, I'm really only in this because of my guy Tectonic. And the fact that he leads every day is something that I love, and why I'm here and why the squad is together.
And even though we may not look directly at Tech in this upcoming Search and Destroy, let's just play devil's advocate. Say that LG find a way to steal away the map. He could be the major X factor towards winning a championship on the Summit Control when we get there for a Game 7.
All right, y'all. Look at your hands. What's on them? It's a series. Let's send it on over to our casters, Beef Mommy and Bobby.
Do you see the series?
I don't know, man. I think we dropped it somewhere.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll find it later. Oh, look. It's popping up our screens right now.
There you go.
We'll hop into it pretty soon. But, yeah, you guys talked about the importance of Tectonic in this lineup. I would say, like I mentioned, I don't think I've met anybody at this event that wants it more than him.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the Tribe roster last year after leaving following that championship that they won for NA back in 2020. And this is his opportunity to finally win a world championship for himself. We'll see if they can do it right here. Is wow, the opening snipe gonna go to Solo. Not quite what I expected here.
Yeah, it seems like the snipers this year of Luminosity is just stepping it up, honestly, times 10. Washi and Solo doing an amazing job at giving that information, getting that space, but Envy getting that as well. Body shots coming in from Ben. Hey, buddy, that's dangerous stuff that you're doing.
All right, little fire under their bellies, eh? Blur's gonna get way pushed up. Tech peeks on over, instantly obliterated, but same happens to him. Washi's got that sniper in hand, and I mean, we saw a pretty solid start to the S&D last time for this Luminosity squad. Seen the same thing right here. The question is, can they maintain that?
Well, you can't really tell what's going to happen now because kind of like what you mentioned already, I'm just going to mirror. They're doing so well, but it's just they kind of falter when it comes to the defense now. And so I'm really excited to see what is actually going to happen and how they're going to offer it. 3-1-1 split coming in from LG, getting that information as Blur gets that really big info that there's going to be that one presence off of this back alley. Marshy gets spotted, goes down. The nade's not cooked enough.
I thought surely that was going to connect, but Marshy must have snuck away just in time. Maybe a little bit of cover to help out. The bomb does go down, and right now, Band content to just peek past the barrels right here and get as much info as he can. He spots one, but obliterated by Tectonic. There's still snipers left to defend, but he's not going to be able to connect either. And they're getting picked apart one by one. Washi forced back into mid-street. Marshy can't quite find the roaming LG players. Vig's going to be able to find another, but the clock continues to dwindle. They're going to go ahead and stick the defuse. Can they get to it in time? No, they cannot. And Bolu, ice in his veins right there to tie up the game.
Ban going down early on into that round, that is going to be the momentum that Tribe took to just flood inside. And now Washi couldn't do anything, especially with that sniper. He tried to get that one pick, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't go away in time, and they just went down very fast. And now 3-2 is going to be our split for today. 3 going into Grand. Trying to get that pick off.
He's not able to win, and now Tribe looking to collapse, but Marshy gets shut down. Players in the top side of blue. Tech gonna drop down right there. Solid teamwork by Envy to get the frag, and it's gonna be a 1v1 right here. Envy comes out on top in that one. Crucial plays and Luminosity once again.
Oh man, that was a kind of a scrappy end for Luminosity. Yes, they were being traded out pretty fairly, and that's what you expect actually from Tribe, knowing very well that they can perform.
That gunfight cooking the nade, seeing if he can get it to connect, but there's nobody there. Envy finds the opener. The bomb is down over on the B site. And now the gunfights ensue as Tectonic, a nasty angle onto Washi to equalize right here. Not an equalizer, just check the scoreboard. There's not many Tribe players. We've seen a team look this solid offensively up against Tribe. We've seen some good defensive teams, but man, oh man, they have had their number, but Vague has, oh my gosh. As soon as I say it, Tribe's like, oh, what did you say? All right, we'll just kill everybody in the lobby.
Well, bomb's gonna go down. The Washi, there's only so much you can do, especially up against Tribe. And that fast break, that's going to be really good. You kind of expect it to be that way because they were so passive in that last round. And so the only natural thing to do is to be really aggressive. And now for Bolu, seals it down. Again, closing the gap even more as well. 2 and 3. That was a really good push coming in from Tribe.
From the facial expression we saw in Washi, he definitely thought that should have been a kill shot, but hit marker, not going to be enough to get the job done. Making his way over the top market right here. See if he can find an early first blood. And Marshy getting aggressive right here, throwing shoulders. He's up big time. He gets one kill, immediately away with his life, and the turn on to Jez. Huge kill for him there as well. He's doing it all for his squad. And Tribe in shambles off the start of the round.
Band yet again in his favorite spot. Tectonic should have heard that. For sure. He didn't hear the slide, and now Band gets a free kill. A 1v4 situation, but it's a good thing that Bolu gets that bomb. Isolated, Washi's gonna try to go and hit that snipe. Tries to go in there to close it out. Bolu gets that one kill, good. But then the 3 players remaining are gonna bunch up together, sealing the deal here for one more round win for them to bring this into a game number 7.
Solo has been steamrolling this Tribe team. 14 kills on the board, but big contributions out of every single one of these players. Clutch plays left and right. And surprisingly enough, the only player not really picking things up is Band, but he's had multiple plays, multiple flanks that he's hit that have had a huge impact to throw Tribe off their normal rhythm on the offensive pushes. And all the different looks that we've seen out of Luminosity have caught Tribe off guard. I didn't think you could wallbang that anymore, but maybe you can. Washi looks start of the day, but they have awoken the beast Tribe Gaming has, in Solo flying across the map. Big performance out of him, but across the board, even Band didn't have his best game, but so many crucial plays, those flanks, able to catch Tribe off guard multiple times. Blur, Envy, Solo, all 9 and above, and on the flip side, nobody really getting going in a big way. This is the map where typically we've seen Jez pop off, but all the different looks that we saw out of Luminosity, he just didn't know what spots to predict.
No one disappointed in this matchup. And yes, Marshy with 6, he got big kills. Band with just a mere 4 where he usually frags out. He made really essential plays by being #1 the flank and giving that information, but also kind of throwing himself out there, being the distraction. It worked out in that last round. And as we're going into our highlights, let's see the brilliance that is Luminosity in this S&D.
You know, we saw some nice shots out of Washi, but there was a shockingly little amount of sniper appearance in this one. It was all about the SMGs, and Solo was just flying everywhere that he could. Envy making some big plays, Blur with some crucial wall bangs. In all those positions, the ones that you don't typically see in the setups on this map, I think especially the defense out of Blur in that gas station side, super crucial. Solo with maybe the turn of the tournament as he's able to take down Bolu on that gunfight. Across the board.
Here we go. Hey, dude, the only time that Tribe tried to make an answer off of Band's, flanks, Blur goes out there with a wall bang out of nowhere, just scaring off 2 players of Tribe, and Tectonic almost going down. Oh my goodness. Honestly, this is the part where I thought Tribe...
He was a player that had been doing that. To be honest, he hasn't super popped off with it whenever we've seen it, but there were times in Stage 4 where he went absolutely crazy and Tribe didn't have much of a counter. The times that it did happen, typically Jez pulled it out and was a pretty solid counter. So not quite sure what to expect out of this one, but with the way the SMGs have been frying for Luminosity these last couple of games, I feel like they do have a slightly more aggressive play style that could work to their advantage. Biggest thing is being patient at that same time and not getting over aggressive on the defensive side.
Last time the Tribe just had a really bad time in Summit here because Wolves gave them 250 and 233 because the Wolves just absolutely abused that KRM. With that being said, though, Luminosity has a player that can definitely shred with a shotgun, but will he pop off in this close quarter comeback? 3-3 is going to be our scoreline. 1 map to make the biggest difference, and of course, we're heading into a game number 7 in our grand finals.
It's only fitting. Oh my gosh, I was terrified that we weren't going to reach this point, but shout out to Luminosity for bouncing back, making it happen right here. In our first ever COD Mobile World Championship final, we get a Game 7. It's going to be Control. Not the usual game mode for a Game 7, but we still love it. It looks like that man, Band, ice in his veins. He is ready to go for the final map.
Bobby, I thought we weren't going to be casting this song. I just didn't want to give Proper and Shift all the fun, right? We need to cast some games today. Looking like it's pretty well worth it. And now as we're slowly getting into our Control Summit, We've seen teams kind of snowball out of control. I mean, I'm not trying to be punny here in Summit because obviously there's a lot of snow. Hello, it's very cold now, December, Christmas time. And speaking of Christmas time, obviously both of these teams want to win that cash money.
This is where legends are made. Game 7s. It's all on the line. It's do or die for both of these teams. All the glory. Let's get it. Summit control, heavy topside push for Luminosity Gaming. Jez with a bottom side flank. He's going to be able to get that frag onto Envy and open things up. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but they're looking to set up a spawn trap early. He's going to be... Right now, you love the way those lives are going. Solo's going to get taken down by his own Hunter Killer. I'm not sure if that actually counts toward the lives. I never really checked on that one, but right here, Blur doing everything he can to defend, or rather push through on that B side. Not a usual spot for the SKS, not a usual map for the SKS, but the A zone completely captured right here. And now on to the tough side, Tectonic maneuvering that top side, put the Kilo away. He's pulling out the Krieg a little bit more.
That's going to be really crucial for him. Spots one. Big doesn't really quite get the trade though. 16-16, even things out. Tribe is so good at...
You got time to work with. You don't have to rush things. Obviously, you want to get that objective captured, but you also don't want to let Tribe play a TDM against you where you're going to be at a disadvantage. Solo, way long range to be using an R9 right there. They're going to be forced back, and no kills go through for them. Tribe looking solid in the top side, but Van's got the counter. High ground control going the way of Luminosity right here. They're set up in a really good position. Question is, will they have the lives? They're throwing a lot away. Why are you pushing through? They're giving them for free. Left to clutch up 2 ticks of objective. And a big task for Band is he's not able to make it. Lo's gonna push through right here. Able to find the first with the R9. Does get traded out the Purifier. The operators starting to come out right here. Envy, crucial gunfight win right there. And Luminosity is getting the better of those exchanges. Got to pay attention to the operators as well. Vague pushing through with his Purifier. Does get traded out right there. Luminosity still having the edge. Likely looking to snowball as much as they can. Didn't opt to use any of their operators at the end of that one. But as far as the TDM game goes, they're playing it pretty dang well. Jez gonna drop right there, and now the life lead starting to build a little bit for Luminosity.
Not that big of a deal for Tribe though. We've seen it come back before, time and time again. Both 4 leads right now from Tribe. They were trying to go and get ready for a push out, but that Vortex just stopped them.
Well, right now, it looks like Luminosity's looking to set up the spawn trap. One player gonna get taken down. Marshy's got some streaks to work with. That Tribe takes the life lead.
Marshy, Fred in hand. That's going to be really big once a B capture is actually going to happen. But Bolu shredding out with the club. Washi stops it really early on, stopping the push. Again, a lot of the score streaks and the operators are being shut down right now by Luminosity. Big Pred. Let's see who's actually going to be getting one. Vake gets spotted out. Doesn't really quite get that kill, but does give that information that someone's going to be by cable car.
It's world.
He's going in there for the take here in control room. Very, very aggressively, they're pushing in through, but they're just letting Tribe actually funnel through. They're not overextending their game here.
There's nobody to really defend the bottom side right now for Luminosity. As I say that, Fan says, I'll hop down, clear off as much as I can, and take a player or two with me. Oh my gosh! Drops the Purifier right there. Cannot be understated how big of a kill, can't be overstated how big of a kill that was right there. And despite that, Tribe still taking that progression over on A. Bolu looking to maintain topside control.
It'll be really difficult because the super solid hold. Very good defense, especially by Envy stopping the push.
That's a big kill right there. They've still got the life advantage. Nothing to worry about. Don't panic. Tribe has no objective captures.